Domino's, bad and good pizza.
You're watching your hometown station, WDBJ 7.
C now has the ball at midfield with under 4 minutes to play. The games are coming up. Enjoy them on CBS.
The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by Volkswagen, AXA Advisors, Burger King, and by Blockbuster.
Last year, Virginia Tech got a taste of sugar, but the taste wasn't so sweet as Florida State grabbed the national championship. With that sour taste still fresh, Michael Vick wants another shot. The Virginia Tech Hokies have raced up the charts to number 2 in the country, but that's not enough for Vick and his game. With 4 games remaining, Frank Beamer has his eye on finishing undefeated. Stay perfect, and the sky's the limit for the Hokies. How about them Panthers, Walt Harris? In just 4 years, Pittsburgh has climbed the ladder just a short step away from that elusive top 25. The Panthers' explosive style has them banging their chest in the Big East. And today, they'll find out just how far they've come. Pittsburgh versus Virginia Tech. The Home Depot College Football on CBS. There's nothing quite like a fall afternoon in the Blue Ridge Mountains, which come to life when there's something hooky going on in Blacksburg, Virginia. From all across the state, they've come to see Michael Vick, Virginia Tech's Heisman candidate, perform his magic. Today, a Big East battle takes center stage as Pittsburgh takes on second-ranked Virginia Tech. And here comes Virginia Tech and Michael Vick. Bring on Pittsburgh. And hi, everybody. I'm Craig Bolerjack, along with former Oklahoma quarterback Dean Blevins. Welcome in here to Blacksburg, Virginia. Virginia Tech has been a threat in the Big East for years. Pittsburgh, Dean, is making a steady climb. A victory today would be a huge leap for Walt Harris and his team. However, they have one obstacle. His name is Michael Vick.
Well, how good is this guy? Just how good is Michael Vick? Well, Walt Harris says he's the best talent he has ever seen. He is physically blessed. He passes with great velocity. He's got a really quick release, and he's accurate most of the time. And then when it comes to running, he is extremely fast, fastest on the field. He's strong, he makes precise cuts, and he's very elusive. And just how elusive is he? There's only one guy more elusive, and it's Houdini.
Houdini himself, huh? Well, there is tremendous respect for Michael Vick from those who have coached against him and from those who have not.
Michael Vick, I think the best way is just dynamite. He's going to explode sometime. You're just never sure when.
He's dependent upon his feet to be for the greatness. Now, he's got the arm, too, but his feet makes him a double weapon.
Any great player is one that you look forward to see and play week to week, as long as you're not coaching against them. I would have to say Michael Vick is as explosive and exciting football player as I've seen in college football.
And, you know, his stats won't really overwhelm you, but the biggest stat is that he is undefeated.
You know, Dean, Michael Vick is a tremendous football player, but that's a lot overlooked. Pittsburgh, they come in today with a lot of offensive weapons themselves.
Well, they do. They sort of have that three-headed monster at quarterback, the triplets. They have, or on offense, I should say, led by their quarterback, John Turman, 5 touchdowns. Antonio Bryant, a couple of touchdowns, and Kevin Barlow. This is all last week, 209 yards. These guys are good. They're led, though, by the first guy there, John Turman, the quarterback. He's now playing with confidence now that he's settled in as a starter. He's big. He has a good arm. He can run the option. And Turman does what Coach Harris wants, and that is stand strong in the pocket.
Well, Walt Harris on the sideline, his 4th year at Pittsburgh. His team is 5-1, the best start since 1991. That team went on to finish at 6-5. Over on the Virginia Tech sideline, Frank Beamer, 14th season in Blacksburg. 7 straight bowl games, including that Sugar Bowl title game last year against Florida State. Weather conditions at game time, 65 degrees. The wind, however, has picked up, very breezy, and there is a chance of rain. The forecast this afternoon. And look at this series. This will be the 8th meeting between these two teams. And last time out, Virginia Tech pulled away to win 30-17. In the Big East, how big is this game? Virginia Tech trying to stay perfect, 7-0 overall on the season, while Pittsburgh continues to try to improve in conference play. They stand at 2-1. Well, Pittsburgh won the toss. They chose to defer until the second half. So Virginia Tech will get their first opportunity with Michael Vick at the helm. Andre Kendrick back to receive.
You mentioned the wind. It has really picked up the last few minutes. It is at the back of Pittsburgh here in the first quarter, and they'll like that because they throw it all over the lot.
Nick Lotz kicks away with the wind behind his back, and it bounces out of the end zone, and there will be no opportunity for a return. Michael Vick, there he is. Use any name you want. Superman, Spider-Man, the most electrifying player in college football. Tremendous runner, Dean, and has a very good arm to match.
Well, I think the best thing going for Michael Vick is he doesn't have to do everything. He's got a great running back and Suggs and receivers, and there's just a lot of talent on that offensive team.
7-0, Virginia Tech will start this offensive series from the I formation. And up the middle, it's Suggs. Will set the Virginia Tech offense. Up front, they call themselves the Secret Service. In the backfield, it's Suggs and Ferguson, along with Johnson and Wilford and Slokowski. Lambeau, Lair, DeMassey, Reddy, and Cadella, the offensive front.
And there's Ricky Bussell, and he is the guy that's going to have to be calling the plays. He says he's going to go up top early. He's going to pop a couple of big plays.
To the near sideline with a pitch and catch. Emmett Johnson wrapped up and dropped at the 27-yard line.
Had a seam, couldn't bust it, though.
Defensively for Pittsburgh, it's Ryan Smith with White, Conlon, and Brian Knight, a tremendous defensive end, only a junior. And the linebackers include Gerald Hayes, Amir Purifoy, and Brandon Williams. The secondary, Spencer, a freshman, Ramon Walker, the hitter, along with Ponko and Robinson.
Well, we really like this guy. Brian Knight, the end, he's a converted split end. He's undersized, but he will get after the quarterback.
3rd down and 4, 3 wide receivers set to the far side. Vick, a left-hander, wants to run. Tucks, makes a little nifty move, and down at the 32-yard line. 1st and 10 Hokies. Brandon Williams made the tackle. And there's that elusive feat of Michael Vick.
Well, I'm sure defensively, if you're a player, coach, or fan of Pittsburgh, it just takes your breath away when he takes off. This was actually a very good tackle by Brandon Williams to keep him from gaining a lot of yardage.
1st and 10. Virginia Tech, this offense averaging just under 43 points a game. Suggs gets the ball near side and stacked up and dropped back at the 38. Sean Robinson in on the stop. Good look at Lee Suggs. Great speed, a 4.27 40-yard sprinter, and last week 21 carries for 91 yards. You know what? Look at the scoreboard. You talk about Vick and his scrambling. Oh, that scoreboard scrambled. The clocks are down, so we're going to have to do it by the old time with the clocks on the field.
Yeah, clocks on the field, and these kids grew up where you did that in sandlot football, so they'll just go back to those old ways.
2nd down and 4. Vick stands up in the pocket, throws it strong. Boy, threw it in double coverage, but a catch by Johnson. 1st down, Virginia Tech. Emmett Johnson, Dean's going to get a lot of looks and a lot of touches today. Andre Davis, their tremendous flanker, is out, will not play. He's dealing with ankle and Achilles tendon problems, but you see what he's really dynamite as a great punt return man.
Looky there, yeah, punt returns, he's #1 in the country, but as a receiver, he is dangerous. He can go the distance at any time, and this is a key player in their offensive system.
Vick on the option. Tried to throw the stiff arm out, but good downline pursuit by number 57, Brian Knight.
Davis is a guy who can just take over a game, and he's not playing. But here's what he did to West Virginia on a Thursday night recently. He scored in 7 minutes 3 different times. He caught a pass, he takes the reverse, the distance, and we talked about his punt return ability. They'll miss him greatly there today, as he is a terrific weapon returning punts as well.
Out of the shotgun. Suggs tripped up, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. Shante Spencer chopped him down around the knees.
Really impressed here early with Pittsburgh's tackling. This is a team in Virginia Tech that if you don't go in fundamentally sound and are a sure tackler coming in from the secondary or linebacker, these guys will slip a lot of tackles. But so far, Pittsburgh has done an excellent job.
And, you know, Lee Suggs, as we know, a great power back with tremendous speed. First catch of the season.
First catch
for Lee Suggs. Third down, call it 9 from the shotgun. Michael Vick under pressure. This time Houdini could not escape, ball down. And a pile up around the 42-yard line.
A lot of white jerseys there. And Virginia Tech recovered. Virginia Tech keeps it. And you know who got back there to cause all the problems? 57, we will be seeing Brian Knight. I'm sure he will have a good night tonight. He always does, and he knocked that one loose. And Michael Vick and Virginia Tech fortunate here.
And, Dean, this has been one criticism of Michael Vick.
Yeah, carries it loose.
Carries it very loose. Carries it very loose. Antonio Bryant back to receive the punt. A short kick into the wind. That takes a Virginia Tech bounce down around the 23, 24-yard line. 34-yard kick. Pittsburgh will be on offense when we come back to Blacksburg. Welcome back, Blacksburg, Virginia, home of the Hokies. Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh scoreless. Pittsburgh Panthers, their first offensive look. Will Harris, tremendous job, Dean, turning this team around in his 4th season. 5-1. Their only loss was that overtime, double overtime loss to Syracuse. Handoff, they want to try to establish the run, and Barlow gets the carry. Quarterbacking today, John Turman, coming off a tremendous game a week ago. He shared the duty with David Priestley, but he had 332 yards, 5 touchdowns a week ago against Boston College. So guess what? You do the math, the starting job now belongs to Turman.
Well, and you can't help but play with more confidence, even though when we had them earlier in the year and he wasn't really the starter, he said, it's not that big a deal. I'm not looking over my shoulder. I don't believe all that. When you don't have a guy ready to come in on the next series, you play better and with more confidence.
From the eye. Barlow wrapped up by Taylor. Offensively, for the Pittsburgh Panthers, it's Barlow in the backfield along with Polite, Antonio Bryant and Lateef Grimm, your wideouts, and the tight end is Bosnick. Up front, Brown, Shaw, McCurley, Brian Anderson, and the right tackle, Matt Morgan, gets the start today in place of Hiawatha Downey. Downey, we told you, did not have a great week of practice, so Matt Morgan, a freshman at 6'7", 290, gets the start. Second down and 11. Turman under pressure and is dropped by 94, Chad Beasley. And Beasley with his first sack of the season. Defensively, up front, Cobb and Mr. Beasley, his roommate David Pugh, and Adibi, Nathaniel Adibi, the backers, Sorensen, Housewright, and Ben Taylor. And the secondary includes Whitaker, Pyle, Corey Bird, and Eric Green.
And Bud Foster, a terrific defensive coordinator. Steve Spurrier tried to hire him a couple of years ago, and he said, nope, enjoy this football program and Frank Beamer. I've been more than 20 years.
Third down, 17. Turman lets the pressure ride by. Still in trouble and is down at the 26-yard line. Housewright, Jake Housewright, pulls down Turman. So heavy pressure by Tech's defense on this first series of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's looking over to his right, and Roniel Whitaker didn't let his man get up the line of scrimmage, and that was the problem.
Jay Junko back to punt for Pittsburgh, and Roniel Whitaker back at his own 30.
Bad kick.
Takes a Pittsburgh bounce, still on the roll past the 30.
You got to catch those, Craig.
At the 26-yard line. No return, 47-yard kick. .8:02 left in the first quarter. Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech. As you look at the Virginia Tech defense, who put plenty of pressure on Turman. First and 10, Virginia Tech. Their second offensive series. Michael Vick. Handoff. Andre Kendrick in at the tailback spot. And for an update on Tennessee, South Carolina, back to New York for the first time. Here's Tim Brando.
All right, Craig, a very important game for South Carolina, clinging to a lead with 26 seconds left. This culminates a 68-yard drive. Travis Henry takes it in. So Tennessee beats Lou Holtz's team 17-14. The Georgia-Florida winner controls its destiny in the Eastern Division.
Wow, before the season, you'd say Tennessee's supposed to roll all over those guys, but it ends up being a big game for Tennessee, both teams, and a big win. Good performance by Tennessee late in that game.
Second down 5. Kendrick gets the call again, stopped in his tracks by Ryan Smith, a 255-pound sophomore.
The Hokies have a good situation at running back because the Suggs guy is a really talented player, 22, who started, but Kendrick is a very nice running back as well. He's a little shorter. He's 5'7", 175, and Frank Beamer was telling us when he saw him as a high school player, he said, I want that guy. I don't know where I'll play him, but he will find a place to play in our system, and he has.
Third down and 4. Again from the eye, Michael Vick play action rolls. The left-hander throws to the sideline. Caught. Cohen Hawkins, the fullback, tripped up, first down. Virginia Tech at the 50-yard line. Ramon Walker, the big hitter out of that Pittsburgh secondary, able to knock down Hawkins, who outweighs him by about 25 pounds. 18-yard pickup.
And this is a nice play by Michael Vick. He takes some steam off of it. It's a good problem to have when your arm is so strong that you sometimes have to watch not throwing it too hard. And Michael Vick has thrown those types of passes too hard sometimes this year. That one had a lot of touch on it, and Hawkins made a nice move after he got it.
Hawkins, a senior from Pittsburgh. First and 10, Virginia Tech. Kendrick follows his blockers maybe 3 yards to the 47. This will be tough, though, for Virginia Tech to run on Pittsburgh. Their run defense ranked 8th nationally, Dean, under 79 yards a game.
Well, it's a great matchup because you have a strong running team. This is a team in Virginia Tech that bases its attack on power football. Yeah, you've got a Heisman guy back there, perhaps a quarterback, but they want to run the football, and Pittsburgh does a very nice job of stopping that.
Second down and 7. Vick wants to throw. Emmett Johnson stacked up and thrown out of bounds back at the 45-yard line. And Dean, let's take a look at our Exxon virtual playbook.
Well, they said, draw a way to stop Michael Vick. I said,
luck.
Sure.
Good luck.
So I said, well, let's make it 3rd and 10, and we'll give you the trick to Vick. And the key to it is containment from the outside by either linebackers or ends. And then you don't want to let the receivers get behind you in the secondary and then pursue, and gang tackle number 7. And the only way to stop him is to put him in 3rd and 10 and hope that you can tackle him.
Right now, he's got 3rd down and 3. Vick.
Well, I don't have a way to stop him there.
Vick 5 for 5 for 38 yards. Well, instead of Vick, they go to Kendrick, who's come in on this series and moved the ball well.
Yeah, Kendrick is a good-looking player. We know 2 things about him for certain. His teammates call him Blue Chip because he came in as a blue chip player. And his roommate is standing beside me doing the spotting for us today. And he says, all I can tell you about him is he can't play if his hair isn't done right. His hair is the key. So right there, his hair's in good shape.
Yeah. Must have got a nice do. I tell you, he was a great high school quarterback. Suggs, fresh legs, couldn't turn the corner to the 36-yard line. Joe Conlon made the tackle.
Well, to be a winning football team, you have to stop the run. And look what Walt Harris has done since he has been there. They were 64th up to 47th, still around 51st, but right now they are 8th. No wonder that this club has only lost one game.
Injured player down, Ramon Walker. We'll take a break and be right back. Pittsburgh trainers huddled around Ramon Walker, a preseason All-America. He's off the field. He was able to jog off under his own power. Second down and 9. 8th play of this drive. They've mixed it with 5 rush attempts, 2 passes so far. Vick and round, fakes it. Vick wants to tuck and run. Wide open lane. Michael Vick at the 20-yard line. Brandon Williams got him from behind, but it shows you the explosive speed of Michael Vick.
Well, and this play could have gone either way. I thought he was going to hand it off, and that was open as well. Michael Vick, clearly the best runner on this team. When he sees a hole, he goes for it. And, you know, he reminds me of some of these other guys who are leading their teams. Crouch, the best runner on his team. Dansler, the best runner. Vick is for this club.
16-yard pickup, and it happens so fast. You blink an eye. Defensively, it's just at another level.
Yeah. His cuts, he is so precise with his cuts and can accelerate so well.
Suggs, looking this outside, and takes a pop, dropped inside the 10, close to a first down. Robinson got his shoulder pads right on number 22.
The thing I like about Suggs is that he understands how the blocking schemes work. He understands how to follow his blockers, stays right behind them. See how he did that? And he uses a terrific speed to get to the outside and strength. Great combination. He came in at 212. He's a guy in high school who was the second fastest high school athlete in America in the 200-meter indoor.
Well, look at the red zone offense. 21 touchdowns and 25 opportunities for Virginia Tech. They are once again knocking on the door. Inside the 5 to the 2. Suggs knocked down again by Robinson. But again, you have a combination of Vick, and then you have to throw Suggs in the mix. Sure, you're missing Andre Davis today, Dean, but you have Emmett Johnson. Defensively, got to drive you crazy.
Well, it does, because they make you play the whole field in the run game. Now, they need to do that in the pass game, but in the run game, they obviously do the outside stuff. They'll work in some option. They run the boots. You saw Vick a moment ago, but then that just opens things up for the inside game.
Second down and goal. The pitch to Suggs. Counters the blockers. Hobson skips in for a touchdown. Lee Suggs, the 8th straight game with a touchdown.
Well, he's got some guys out in front of him who can block. Cadella, 76. Watch him get outside and take care of his man. Fullback takes care of his man, and anytime you can go in untouched, it's a nice job by your people, but Frank Beamer knows that the defense didn't do its part there. That was too easy.
Carter Warley with the extra point. Redshirt freshman now 39 of 40 in PATs. Well, Virginia Tech has outscored their opponents, Dean, 80-24 in the first quarter. They're up 7-0 on Pittsburgh. Suggs with his 15th touchdown, a 2-yard run, 11 plays, 74 yards.
Look at these numbers. I mean, this is an unbelievable start. 2, 4, 2, 2, 2 there, and so now you can add one more, and where we, Craig? We're at 15, right?
15.
15 rushing touchdowns.
Good math.
For number 22. You have 14 and 1 gets you to 15. And then if you subtract 2, you go back to 13, right?
Good look at Ron Rutherford, third-string quarterback for Pittsburgh, who is a tremendous kick return man. He'll pedal back 2 yards deep. Rutherford at the 15. Rutherford finds a gap to the 20, to the 29-yard line. Well, test your sports knowledge. Play Aflac Trivia at cbs.sportsline.com or America Online. Enter the keyword CBS Sportsline. We'll have an Aflac Trivia question for you a little bit later.
Yeah, I missed it. I'm kind of 0 for the season on those trivia questions. We've had some tough ones.
Yeah, we have.
Real tough ones.
There's a reason for that. Make you think a little.
That's right.
Usaka Polite, Kevin Barlow in the backfield. Pittsburgh down 7. Barlow shedding tacklers. Barlow, a senior, last week, Dean. Tremendous game. 25 carries against Boston College and ripped them up for 209 yards and a touchdown.
Well, his running backs coach, Kenny Carter, says this guy is a stud. He has had fumbling problems. In fact, Kenny had him paint the ball green and carry it all day. I mean, he took it to class with him.
But not to dinner.
No, not to dinner because he needs both hands, right? I think that's what he said. But this is a guy that'll be a first-day pick, I'm told, in the NFL draft. Just a terrific player. And you see his name is K-E-V-A-N. He tells us it's Kevin, but no one's ever called him that.
Yeah, he didn't want to. E.J. Borghetti, who's a PR man at Pitt.
He said information.
Yeah, because, you know, we thought it was Kevin. We just stayed with Kevin, but he likes, you know, sometimes when he's talking to his friends, he says, yeah, my name's really Kevin. So we'll call him Kevin, and then we'll call him Kevin. How's that?
That's fine. I always would prefer to be called what it really is. It's amazing how many kids you run into these days that doing games that they don't care what they're called.
True.
Just call them to dinner and call them when they have a chance to play in the pros.
Second down inches. The ball just inside the 39-yard line. 2:43 left in this opening quarter. Virginia Tech ranked number 2 in the country.
Now this is a play you can do anything you want. Second and short, it's a throwaway down. Throw it deep.
Turman hands off. Instead, it's Barlow straight up the middle behind his center, Jeff McCurley, and the right guard, Brian Anderson.
They didn't get my play call. I guess we're not wired up down there because I guess they wanted the first down. But on a second down and short, it's a throwaway down.
All right, Dean, every week we like to see the report card. Here we go.
Keys, in my opinion, for this game today, they've got to contain Michael Vick. They've got to make several big plays on offense and break even in the kicking game. Virginia Tech is terrific in the kicking game, and they need to neutralize them. If they do those things, they should have a great chance to win.
1st and 10. Barlow, a couple of yards to the 45.
We'll monitor those throughout the game and kind of give them a grade update as we go.
I'll tell you, Virginia Tech is no slouch when it comes to run defense. They're under 100 yards a game, actually 99. You know, they forced 5 turnovers last week against Syracuse in what turned out to be a very tight game.
Well, and they have a lot of new faces out there. In fact, they only have one player in the same position. I think Corey Bird is the player that's back who's in the same position. Other than that, yeah, they have a bunch of new players.
7 plays, all rushing. Make it 8 as Barlow reaches out to midfield. Nick Sorensen. For an update on Northwestern and Minnesota, here's Tim Brando in New York.
Craig, Zach Kustok had 199 yards passing, 90 yards rushing, and 4 touchdowns today. Coming from 21 points down, this is a Hail Mary thrown, and it's tipped into the air by Coonley Patrick, caught by Sam Simmons. Northwestern still very much a part of the Rose Bowl picture, only 1 conference loss.
Crazy year in the Big Ten. Looks like Minnesota's the hot team for a while, then Northwestern, and who knows who will win in that league anymore.
Turman forced to tuck and run for the first down.
Hey, nice job. Nice job by Turman getting to the marker. He knew exactly how far he needed to go.
In the Big Ten, Michigan, Purdue, then it's Ohio State, Northwestern now at 4-1 in conference play, 6-2 on the season.
People think Drew Brees here at Purdue, 6-2, has a chance both at the Heisman and for his team to go to the Rose Bowl. First time in some, I think it's 34 years, that they control their own destiny.
Good drive put together here by Pittsburgh, down 7. First and 10 at the Virginia Tech 47 again from the I. Two wide receivers set to the near side. Truman on the pitch, a little throwback. Turman going for the deep ball, has a wide open man. Lateef Grimm! Touchdown, Pittsburgh! Razzle-dazzle, 47 yards.
Lateef Grimm has been a no-show for a good part of this year. A terrific receiver. And you go to your bag of tricks, and he is behind the secondary, which makes up. They have great closing speed, but you talk about speed. Lateef Grimm also had closing speed on that ball that was thrown out in front of him. Terrific execution.
First touchdown catch for Lateef Grimm. 10th touchdown this season of 40 yards or more by Pittsburgh. Extra point. Block.
Hokies tried to pick that one up on the run because, of course, you can pick up a blocked extra point and take it back for the distance for a score.
I'll tell you, Frank Beamer's defense and their special teams, amazing. 7-6, Hokies. We'll return to Lane Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station.
To the bag of tricks, Pittsburgh goes. Watch the flea flicker here. You hand it off. It looks like it's just a running play, and Turman will get it back. Now, we're going to stop it right here. As you see, you're going to have a man beaten here, and also the cornerback over here, Green, has to get back. So Pyle and Green are about a step behind Lateef Grimm, and that's a ball that looked like it was not going to get there, but it sailed with the wind, and a terrific throw and catch by Lateef Grimm, who has returned, Craig.
Of course, we've got 15 seconds left on this first quarter clock as Kendrick is wrapped up inside the 20 and dropped. So Virginia Tech will get a play before we take the quarter break. How about Lateef Grimm, though? First touchdown. It's been a dry spell since last year's finale against West Virginia, as Vick's getting a few instructions before he heads back onto the field.
Vick happy that his special teams once again come through because he still has the lead, and he will be going with the wind after this final play.
Kendrick and Hawkins in the backfield for Virginia Tech, up 7-6. Michael Vick on the option. Kendrick. Boy. Pittsburgh able to spread them out defensively. Mike White made the tackle. Now, that is the end of the first quarter. Virginia Tech 7, Pittsburgh 6. And we will return to Lane Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station. We start the second quarter. Virginia Tech on top of Pittsburgh 7-6. Craig Bolerjack back along with Dean Blevins here in Blacksburg, Virginia. Dean, I tell you, 7-6, close. Beamer and his guys blocking yet another point after. It's amazing how aggressive this team is.
The crowd gets into it. I mean, he's done this now. He's had 2 block kicks 15 times in one game in his career. This is yet another one. And in the 90s, since Beamer has been here in the 90s, it's been, as we call it, a block party here.
Sure has.
There's the game. 117, blocked kicks 63. That is unbelievable. So 15 times there have been 2 kicks blocked in a game. That's an unbelievable statistic.
You know, we talked about this in the car. How do you practice, or basically as a team sit down and draw out?
Well, I think you take pride in it. You put fast athletes and your best athletes on the field, and through film study, you find any weakness that might be there.
Vick on the option. His trailer, Kendrick, comes the corner, spins out of the tackle, first down. Nice run to the 28-yard line.
Well, it looked like on this option play that Brian Knight, 57, was in good position to make the play. Watch Knight coming out here with his speed on the defensive end slot, but he is unable to get there. It was a good job by Vick of executing perfectly, and if you don't play your position and you don't play assignment football, assignment sound football with speed defensively against any option, you don't have a chance.
Understand Ramon Walker is out Injured his left knee. No word if he'll return or not. Vick in trouble. Throws a stiff arm. A flag has been thrown. Vick breaks a tackle at the 50. Vick at the 40.
That'll come back. It'll be a major surprise if that's not a holding call against Virginia Tech.
Good eyes, because that is the initial call.
Well, it was called in that area where Michael Vick is the protection is breaking down, and that will wipe out a 33-yard run for Michael Vick. But that's why you kind of know what's coming there, because the flag goes into that area where his offensive line is breaking down. They feel the pressure, and to protect their, what did you call them? Are they the CIA? Secret Service.
On the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
That's Tom DeJoseph, our referee today. Yeah, their O-line likes to be called the Secret Service.
Right there is Cadella against a great pass rusher, and Brian Knight. He's got him. He's holding. You know, it's hard to call. It's hard to know when to call the holding because it happens on virtually every play. But if it affects the play is how the referees are instructed to call that. And that play, it did affect the play because Knight probably would have had at least a chance to get the quarterback.
First down, 26. Vick wants a throw. Pop for grabs. Taken down by Pittsburgh. It's Brian Knight. Pinball out there.
Michael Vick holding himself, or he has a a hand injury. That may be more important than this interception. We'll follow that. But Michael Vick throws this ball with a lot of velocity, and these tight ends on those 10-yard curl routes have to be alert. Derek Carter, the man who was unable to garner that one. Can't tell if that's an injury to the hand or to another body part, which, if it's the hand, it could be something that would be more serious than the other body part, which would be temporary.
Good explanation.
A temporary setback.
Fifth interception by Vick. Turman going to the end zone. Wide open. Drop! Antonio Bryant. A rare mistake by the nation's #1 leading receiver. 140.6 yards a game. He had an easy touchdown.
Play action. He is wide open as the defender fell down. That was the true rookie, Eric Green, burned earlier by Lateef Grimm. And that time, Green fell down, and he is lucky, as Virginia Tech is.
You know, Antonio Bryant played very well on the road in 2 games this year. 16 receptions, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, nearly 20 yards a catch.
He's checking.
Second down and 10. Turman. Protection breaks down on the rollout. Goes back to the end zone. Up on the ladder. Touchdown. He didn't drop it this time. Bryant.
This touchdown has to go on the lack of pressure from Virginia Tech, because the secondary, the linebackers, did a great job. Turman can't find a guy. No one. Buys time. His receiver comes over on the always moving the back of the end zone. Antonio Bryant is not going to drop a second ball in his grasp. We've got a ball game, partner.
6th touchdown of the year caught by Antonio Bryant. And the 12th touchdown thrown by Turman. Nick Lotz with the extra point. Turman, boy, he's had the hot hand, and he puts Pittsburgh on top 13-7. Antonio Bryant deemed the reigning Big East Player of the Week. Last week against Boston College, 8 receptions, 222 yards, had a pair of touchdowns, and today he adds another to his list. 6 on the year for Antonio Bryant, only a sophomore out of Miami.
Well, out of Miami, he was put off because he wasn't offered scholarships, quite frankly, by the Florida schools, and he is very happy where he is now. Said that he worked out in the summers with, who was it, Antonio Brown, and I know Santana Moss.
Right.
Says he learned a lot from those guys.
You know, here's the greatest line. He goes, I like to start my own house from scratch, rather than move into one. It's already built.
Right.
Short kick, taken at the 35. Keith Willis, a backup tight end, gets it to the 43-yard line. Michael Vick shaken up on that last series. has a headset on. His backup is right to his left. Right there, Dave Meyer. Vick peels him off and is back.
Well, I wasn't sure he was going back in. I was looking for the backup quarterback in the huddle, and I was going to say that was not an anatomy injury. That was a hand injury, but it's not. He is back and looks fine. His team is all business right now. They can't afford to let Pittsburgh, with that explosive offense, jump out on them.
Vick 5 of 6 for 38 yards. And it's Wolford in motion. Vick on the rollout. The left-hander throws it, darting complete. Well, tomorrow here on CBS, it's NFL action. Doubleheader day. The Jets taking on Buffalo. Doug Flutie at the helm for the Bills. Late games include Jacksonville, Dallas, and the Chiefs at Seattle. And it all begins with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Jim Nantz and that very well put together group of guys will be at our Fifth Avenue studio.
Nice job, that play by Corey Humphreys. Big shoes to fill with Ramon Walker, the star safety, out of this ball game right now.
Vick. Time to run. Can he turn the corner? Steps out of bounds. Late tackle. At the 43, this crowd looking for flags. Claude Harriet chased him out.
I think the crowd is right on this one, and Michael is even mentioning it as well. Vick can't find anyone, uses the terrific athleticism, and let's see if he is hit out. Yes, that's a... Craig, do you agree with me?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Receiver not found. Use your legs. And people are just dying to be able to get a hit on him, and sometimes they lose perspective of where they are. And Harriot will feed, but not flag.
1st and 10. Not much up the middle. Conlon in on the stop. You know, they got to go back, though, and discuss the speed factor. Because every player we talk to, including Virginia Tech, says, you know, Michael Vick does play at a different speed. I can't imagine, unless you're on the field, what it must be like to try to catch up to him or make sure you bring him down.
Well, all you have to do is watch tape and see these fast defensive backs who are reportedly 4-4 type runners who take angles, and they still can't get there. He changes all of the angles that teams have to use to pursue it.
2nd down. Suggs, maybe a yard. Indeed, the last couple of weeks, West Virginia, yeah, they won 48-20. Syracuse, yes, they won 22-14. However, they struggled in those first halves against both those teams.
Absolutely. And Ricky Bussell, the offensive coordinator, says that will be a key thing. We're talking to the club about it. They realize we need a fast start. We're going to get one of these games where we can't come back. And so far, Pittsburgh is putting up the type of performance that they can't afford to not play well early.
Virginia Tech 3 of 4 on 3rd down opportunities. Suggs, big hole, stumbles, and will depend on the spot. I believe he may have it by a length of a football. Corey Humphreys, the free safety.
I really like this guy. I'm a little biased because he's the son of a preacher, and yours truly is as well. But he knows that he can see with his vision the orange flag out there. He knows where the first down marker is. Did you see him lunge for that extra foot? That was the difference in converting that to a first down or either a long field goal or a punt.
Only a sophomore from Roanoke, Virginia. His dad, as you mentioned, is a pastor just down the road in Christiansburg, Virginia.
Reverend Lee and Juanita.
7 carries for Lee Suggs, 37 yards. 1st and 10, Virginia Tech at the 33-yard line of Pittsburgh. Suggs again the ball carrier. For an update on Georgia and Florida, let's go to New York, and here's Tim Brando.
Craig and Dean, the story in this game is after a couple of interceptions that netted only 3 points for Georgia, Rex Grossman does find Jabbar Gaffney for 27 yards. They missed the extra point, added a field goal. Quincy Carter's been injured, and Corey Phillips in at quarterback for Georgia.
Well, that's interesting because Carter has not played well this year. No. Heisman candidate early, certainly out of the Heisman race now, but Phillips came in and has played so well, due for 400 yards in the last game.
And don't you think Spurrier's found himself a wide receiver?
And he's found himself a quarterback.
Yeah, he has.
You know, this kid Grossman has developed into a very good young quarterback.
CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot College football will continue after this word from your local station. Pittsburgh on the road, leading number 2 ranked Virginia Tech 13-7.
Something's not right here. It's Virginia Tech's young defense that's having to hold up while its veteran offensive group struggles. Easily supposed to go the other way around.
So far it's been the Vick and Suggs show. Throws to the near side. Caught and dropped. It's Wilford. Knocked down by William Ferguson.
Wilford's a nice big target. He's a redshirt freshman. He's 6'5". And what Michael Vick did that time is showing some improvement. His coaches, Coach Beamer was telling us yesterday that he's got to throw a more catchable ball in situations where he doesn't rifle it in there. He misses receivers such as the last one, but he threw that in a place where his receiver could go get it and catch it.
8th play of this drive. So far 5 rush and 2 pass. They'll stay on the ground. Suggs wrapped up maybe a yard to the 17, hit by Joe Conlon.
Conlon, a player who has been playing in a lot of pain, number 98. He and Mike White, number 97 up front. Not that athletic, but they create a lot of plays. They make a lot of piles.
Oh, where's the pain? Everywhere. Every day.
Where does it hurt? Where does it not hurt?
2nd down 10. Vick trying to throw to the near side. Knocked down. Brian Knight able to get up and bat the ball down.
Well, your playbook of possible options on 3rd and 10 is greatly reduced from a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. Offensive coordinators don't like these situations. Defensive coordinators do.
Frank Beamer facing the sideline. Michael Vick passing today, 6 of 9, 52 yards in the interception. 3rd down and 10. Vick under pressure, throws incomplete. He's looking for Emmett Johnson, and that brings up 4th down.
Looks like maybe miscommunication on that play because they had a blitz. They had man-to-man coverage in the secondary. And Emmett Johnson was going one way, Michael Vick the other. And so now the field goal unit comes out. You've got to be on the same page, especially when you have pressure coming at you and you only have about 2.5 seconds to get rid of it.
Carter Warley, 3 for 3. Beats it up from 35 and good. So Warley, a redshirt freshman, stays perfect. 4 for 4 on the year. We'll be back.
Tim Brando in New York. And coming up on the AXA Halftime Report, Spencer and I will get you caught up on a big day. How's this for big? R.J. Bowers of Division III Grove City had 128 yards rushing today, one shy of 7,000 in his career. That's the all-time leading rushing mark. Now back to your game.
Run, R.J., run.
That's a lot of yards.
Grove City. Wow.
I don't care what division you're in. That's a lot of yards. You know, Virginia Tech is struggling in part because I don't see any ability when it comes to a short passing game. They have speedy wide receivers. Teams that line up against them know that they're going to try to bomb you a couple of times, and teams line up with soft secondaries. That's what's happening today.
No return. Tuesday on CBS, find out what happens when a high-profile murder case is televised and the media reveals more than it should. It's an all-new Jag, Tuesday on CBS.
You know, in speaking with John Turman, the quarterback, earlier this week, he told us that he was going to go at Eric Green, number 1, the true freshman out on the corner, who has an especially difficult job as a true freshman playing the field corner. That's a lot of responsibility, a lot of area for a young guy.
Turman 2 of 3 for 64 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Ball batted up. Caught. It was still dropped and then picked up on the shoe tops.
Well, that is a heads-up play by whoever caught that.
Lusaka, polite.
Is he the one that got it?
32.
The fullback, just doing some mop-up duty. Well, keep an eye on the fullback there, 32. He's ready for blitz pickup. He says, John, throw it to me. No, John's not going to do it, but there's Antonio Bryant knocks it up, and he's able to pick that. Wow.
Chad Beasley locked that ball down for Virginia Tech. A pick up the 7 after all that. 2nd and 3. Nothing. Barlow dropped. Housewright and Summers.
Jake Housewright is a football player. I mean, this is the guy played behind an All-American and Jamel Smith last year, but watch 41. In there in a hurry. But a poor job by the quarterback, John Turman. You've got an audible out of that play. That was a bad play.
You know, Housewright comes from good bloodlines. His brother, Bill, played mid-90s. His dad played nose guard here at Virginia Tech. 3rd down and 8. 3 wide receivers. Turman in trouble. Breaks free. Pumps, and it is done.
A DB stays after him.
His 3rd sack. A young guy, redshirt freshman out of Hampton, Virginia. And he was a sack master in high school with 35.
Pressure coming from all around, but watch a DB, top of your screen, number 83, now chasing Turman. He gets there. He fits in the tradition of great defensive ends here. We'll shut up because they may block a kick.
Jake Junko back at his own 1-yard line. Here they come. Boy, that intimidation. Wow. Junko skied it. Takes a bounce back at the 19.
I have never seen a punt only reach their own 19-yard line.
4 yards.
That's hard to do.
It went up, and it came down.
Watch the punter, Junko, as he feels the pressure coming from Provitt. And he actually kicks and doesn't follow through with his normal routine because he feels that pressure. Goes straight up. It looks like not a sand wedge, but a 60 wedge with a lot of spin on it coming back.
4 yards.
4 yards.
You know what, though, Dean? I'm believing as well Junko knows the pressure and just the intimidation of Virginia Tech. He knew the pressure was coming in a tough situation and put it straight up.
Talk about a short field following a punt. They got it at the 19, and the crowd's into the game.
Play action. Vick in trouble. Still on his feet. Throws on a knee. Incomplete. Out of bounds.
Won't show up in the stats, but that's the best play Michael Vick has made this afternoon. Mike, as they call him, not Michael. Mike is saying, guys, come on, give me a little bit of more time. They've got pressure coming. 2 men come free. And Michael Vick is strong enough to keep them going down. And outside the tackle box, as long as you throw it past the line of scrimmage, you can throw it anywhere.
Sorry, Dean, coming into today, the O-line had given up 19 sacks, 8 last week against Syracuse. Interesting conversation, though, that we had with Virginia Tech players and coaches. The speed of Michael Vick, he sometimes causes his own sack.
The 25-second clock.
No, you're exactly right. I think part of the problem sometimes is the receivers have to read the route as they go. They have to make adjustments. And that time, the wide receiver did not make an adjustment, and therefore Michael was caught holding the football too long.
2nd down and 10. Under 8 minutes left in the first half. From the shotgun, Vick pumps and throws the corner route, sliding. Incomplete.
Oh, Emmett Johnson had one there. Frank Beamer's smiling, but that's because Frank Beamer's a nice guy.
Well, Beamer told us that Emmett Johnson will become a bigger target today because of the injury to Andre Davis. We saw Antonio Bryant drop one for Pittsburgh, and now Emmett Johnson so close.
Ooh, that was an out and up. He had a step on his man, and Michael Vick threw it exactly where he should. Johnson unable to make the play. It's a game of playmakers. You can't make plays. You can't play in today's college football.
Virginia Tech 4 of 6 on 3rd down tries. Vick going to roll out and throw. Out of bounds. First down at the 8-yard line, and he goes to Wolford.
Wow. I mean, I don't know that you can appreciate the velocity sitting in your living room. This ball is thrown. It looks like a Nolan Ryan fastball. And he throws it on the run, squares his shoulders up. And this one is caught by Wilford. And I don't know how he kept concentration because Sean Robinson broke on the ball, and it looked like it would have been a distraction. But a great catch by Wilford.
11-yard gain, 1st and goal. Movement and flags.
You know what? That's smart of Michael Vick and the center to get the penalty. But the really good offenses will take that and throw it into the end zone. They'll take advantage.
Offside on the defense. Half the distance of the goal. Repeat the down.
And again, what happens? The defense jumps off sides. The center in this case is Grove. He snaps it. But I have seen Josh Heupel at Oklahoma 3 times last year and already once this year on a similar play, say out in midfield. They snap it, and he drops back and throws for a touchdown.
Free play.
Yeah, free play.
1st and goal just inside the 5-yard line. Virginia Tech down 3. They fake the little pitch out and give it to the fullback. They ride Hawkins. Brandon Williams made the tackle. Hawkins, a senior. He's out of Pittsburgh. He played his high school ball at Upper St. Clair.
It would be hard having Michael Vick on the goal line and not putting him on the corner every play in a pass-run option. I know that if I were a defender or a coach on the sideline, that's what I would be most concerned with.
Andre Kendrick is the tailback. 2nd down and goal. Double tight end set. Kendrick spins inside the 4, maybe to the 3-yard line. With a little 5'7" runner. He is just tough to grab onto.
Well, he is, but so far the Pitt defense is having a nice day, and if they can keep Virginia Tech out of the end zone here, they will have won the battle. And it could be a tie game at 13. This is a big play. This is probably one of those 4-point plays.
Kendrick had a big game last year, 162 yards against Pitt. Kendrick in motion. Hands off. Suggs. 3 touchdown.
Well, Ricky Bussell says we're going to just keep hammering it straight ahead because I believe in my offensive line. Terrific block by Matt Lair. Frank Beamer says, yeah, let's go for 1. Michael Vick fumbling that snap, barely recovered.
Carter Warley, the extra point, is up and good. 6th multi-touchdown game of the year for Lee Suggs. It's a seesaw game in Blacksburg. 17-13, Hokies.
I mentioned earlier Michael Vick bobbling this snap, and indeed that is what happened. Grove snaps. Michael almost loses it, gains control of it enough to hand it off, and Virginia Tech unusual with its offensive line, and they run 2 centers. And there you see Suggs getting into the end zone again, but Craig, they have DeMasi and Grove that take turns. Grove is a player who has upside, is terrific, but he's been hobbled by a bad back.
Boy, another short kick. Touched at the 10-yard line. I'll tell you, Suggs with his 16th touchdown.
Well, they're calling it, the yellow is on the field because they're saying that he didn't touch it and went out of bounds.
Free kick out of bounds, not touched. Free kick out of bounds.
Crowd does not like that because they're saying that the return man touched the football.
That's Darcy Levy.
It appeared to me that that
ball's touched.
Yeah, it was touched. That's a bad call. Levy, a Notre Dame transfer, got away with one there. Got lucky there.
Pittsburgh starting at their 35-yard line, 6:19 before the half, and down by 4.
And there's a lot of difference coming out of your own end zone on about the 10-yard line versus the 35.
Well, they set 5 wide receivers out. Barlow in motion. Turman stands and throws. Wide open. On the numbers, R.J. English to the 26. Nick Sorensen had him one-on-one, able to make the tackle. English with his 11th reception of the year, and it goes 39 yards.
What's called zero coverage, and the man beaten was actually Sorensen. He lost by a half step, and you just can't let a man get a step on you. Sorensen is not overly fast anyway, although he has played quarterback and has played in the secondary. Speed is not his forte, and stepped behind and got burned.
Turman 4 of 5, 110, going for more. Touchdown, Antonio Bryant. He had man coverage with Eric Green, the true freshman. But a flag is back at the 31.
After the touchdown, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the offense, penalty being forced on the try.
So touchdown stands, and Eric Green, number 1, is having a nightmare. Matched up with Antonio Bryant, the nation's leading receiver. It's like they're the only 2 guys back behind the line of scrimmage. And he turned him around. Antonio Bryant, a clinic move that time on Eric Green. I tell you what, though, it's a terrific job by the coaching staff at Pitt in personnel groupings and finding a way to put on not only an island. I mean, he's out there by himself in the entire secondary with Green and Bryant. Receiver has a big advantage there.
Understood Barlow was taunting after the touchdown. Extra point by Lotz. This will be like a field goal. Got a good lay, gets up, and good. Track beat in Blacksburg.
Good game.
Well, much success for Antonio Bryant has been the fact that Walt Harris said, he doesn't really go out there just freelance anymore. He understands his routes. 2 plays, 65 yards, and he understood his route this time.
Well, he did. And what's happening is that Virginia Tech is having to bring 6 and 7 men. They are exposing their secondary to one-on-one. But Foster telling us maybe the most important thing that we're going to do on Saturday is we've got to get pressure with the 4-man rush so that we don't expose our guys. Well, they haven't gotten the pressure with the 4-man rush, so they're having to go to 5, 6, 7-men rush and expose their secondary.
Thurman threw for 332 yards last week. So far in this game, 136. Andre Kendrick. Nice return to the 37.
Well, let's see if Virginia Tech can either establish their running game or find a way to attack with a short passing game. That's what Pittsburgh is trying to. Basically, they're daring them to do that. Be patient and take the short step.
Well, offensively, in the run department, they rank number 4 in the country at 279 a game.
Look at the distance right up here. Look at how far off the cornerback is. And that can catch. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about. That one on the near side. Actually, a hitch on the far side would get a man 15 yards before a defender would be there.
Emmett Johnson making the catch.
Just a simple hitch to the right. A little block on the outside. Nice job out there by the offensive lineman Cadella coming out. That's easy to do. Just be patient, pitch and catch.
Shante Spencer lost the tackle, and Johnson able to pick up extra yards on second effort.
Look at that, Craig.
Vick. Let's throws it up. Incomplete. Boy, Michael Vick is down at the 41.
He took a shot.
Brandon Williams unloaded.
Michael Vick took a shot and is limping, and he got the pressure, did not have time to find his receiver. See if we can tell what it is.
Oh, got stepped on. Cleats.
I thought I saw a cut on his leg. Right there.
Right on it. Yeah, he got stepped on in the cleats. That's what you call a couple of... They gouged him. Oh, boy. Vick coming to the sideline, 8 of 15 for 80 yards in the pick.
Michael Vick having a frustrating afternoon and has had, at times, a frustrating year. And I think it's because the expectations are just out of this world for this guy. You see all the physical tools and the remarkable plays. Let's watch again and see the cleat come down on the calf muscle.
Right there. Oh. Brandon Williams, a sophomore out of New Kensington, Pennsylvania.
Well, Brandon is a 225-pounder coming with an explosive amount of force onto that calf muscle.
Well, as Vick tries to walk it off. Coming up next week here, doubleheader action on the Home Depot College football. Virginia Tech and Miami. And Alabama at LSU starts up next Saturday, high noon Eastern, right here on CBS. And Michael Vick has made his way to the sideline. His backup is Dave Meyer, a 6'3" senior. And Meyer has not carried the football this season and is 3 of 6 for 38 yards.
Coaches say very capable. And we'll find out. He probably would have been the starter here had Michael Vick not come onto the scene.
The pitch to Suggs. He makes a big part now in his offense, but tripped up a yard to the 46. Clock is running, coming up on the 5-minute mark before halftime. Pittsburgh on the road leading number 2 ranked Virginia Tech as Michael Vick is being looked at.
Meyer is a senior. In fact, he's a redshirt senior, so he's been around this offense a long time. Had a big game against Pittsburgh 2 years ago and ended up with a broken collarbone. So he's seen a lot of action. He knows the system.
Meyer throws. They try to set up the screen, but Jarret Ferguson, the fullback, 27, outran his line. And that brings up 4th down.
Well, Michael Vick, clearly the man who has done it here at Virginia Tech. Look at, with Vick, here are the numbers, 18. They averaged 44 points and 446 yards. There are the numbers before Vick, 12 and 7, 28 points.
Priestley to punt. Hinger takes the bounce at the 5. Down to the 9-yard line. Well, coming up on the AXA halftime report, Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman will have all the scores and highlights, plus the latest college football news. That's all coming up on the AXA halftime report.
Well, my guess is that even though Pittsburgh has had a good deal of success offensively and recently, that the crowd will get back into this game and that the defense will sense that with Michael Vick out, that they can't allow any more of what has happened. It's going to be a great matchup because this guy, I mean, Walt Harris is an offensive coach.
Well, he's developed quarterbacks, but he wants this system to be known as wide receiver unit. With a guy like that, he's going to build the name just fine. Antonio Bryant bumped down to the 16 by Sorensen. Nick Sorensen's an interesting story for Virginia Tech. You know, he wears number 14. He was a quarterback. Played safety, free safety last year, and they move him up to a linebacker spot.
Yes, sir. Nick Sorensen, the fellow you're talking about, and he is a guy that talks about practice being so fast here at Virginia Tech, and that's a shot of Walt Harris once again trying to figure out what to do. Walt Harris' system, they take what the defense gives them, and that time they gave them the simple hitch for 7 yards. 2nd down and 3.
into his own man. He'll lose a couple back to the 14. Corey Bird credited with the tackle, the rover back.
Well, and also Lamar Cobb at 28 did a great job of plugging up that play. He is a smallish, a light defensive end at only 224 pounds, but he is fast and strong for his size.
3rd down and 5. Pittsburgh 1 of 3 on 3rd down conversions this afternoon. 4 wideouts.
One-on-one once again down here with the young guy.
Sherman stands a little too long and is driven down. Bird. Now, Michael Vick, his shin, as we saw, was stepped on, but word from the sideline, he shall return. And now as you mentioned, Dean, crowd back in this game. A good defensive stand by the Hokies.
Well, and they're sensing points here. They want to go for blood. They know that their quarterback is crippled at least temporarily, and their offense is struggling, so help.
Andy Lee has come in to punt in place of Junko. Trying to get a bigger boot. Heads to the sideline, out of bounds at the 45. Now it's time for our U.S. Army Heritage.
1, 2, 1, 2. Hokey, 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 high, tack, tack, CPR, solo rock, West Virginia,
All right, Dean, what is a Hokie? Everyone wants to know. It's actually a fight song. And Hokey Hokey has just come back. As you heard the crowd roar, Michael Vick taped up, ready to roll.
The lead Hokie. Well, Mike Vick has had the flair for the dramatic, and it would be fitting for him to finish off the first half after a poor first half.
Gets the ball, leans to the 36-yard line, about a yard shy of the first down. Corey Humphreys, the free safety, made the tackle.
Momentum is a very powerful thing, and right now it is with Virginia Tech. And watch the front. The offensive front here, when they get serious and get hats on the right guys, Lembo and Lair and DeMasi and Grove and Redding and Cadella, they can flat out block. They're an undersized group, but they're very athletic.
2nd down and 1. Vick on the option. Tucks it high. Oh, he's fine. To the 24. Humphreys knocked him down. I don't know what type of tape they're using or a bandage, but I want one. 12-yard pickup.
Hey, I want you to keep an eye on this man right here, Cadella. Watch him move. 76. Terrific job by Cadella of getting his man on the ground, Harriet. 76 will come right at you. Look at him. Terrific job, and Vick does his part as well.
6 carries now for Michael Vick, 42 yards. Bandage and all. Hokies first down at their own 20, at the West, for Pittsburgh 24.
One of the few audibles that Mike Vick has called today.
Vick 3-step drop. Pucks and runs. Slides to the 21, maybe the 20. Joe Conlon brought the pressure for Pittsburgh.
I'll tell you the problem that Virginia Tech is having. Michael Vick is very frustrated. His young receiver, number 19, Ernest Wilford, who is substituting for Andre Davis, is not adjusting on these routes. There has to be good communication between the quarterback and the receiver has to know what the secondary is giving him. And Wilford is not doing that right now.
From the eye, 2nd down and 6. Vick to Suggs. To the 9-yard line. And again, Humphreys making the tackles, and that's not what you want as your free safeties saving you every time down the field.
Well, this is a speed option, and you talk about speed on the option. The quarterback runs a 4.25, and the running back's the second fastest high school kid in the country a couple of years ago. That's a speed option.
13 carries for Lee Suggs, 61 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. First down, goal, just inside the 10. 2 wide receivers set to the near side. Wolford and Johnson. Vick in trouble, improvising down at the 17. lost his footing that time, or he may have escaped.
Well, Pittsburgh doing a very good job throughout this first half, and that time they blew that play up in the backfield. They kept Vick from getting to the corner the way he needed to execute that option, and more importantly, they realized, it was drilled into them this week, that Michael Vick has a tendency in a bad play to turn around, do a 180.
Well, Virginia Tech wants a timeout. Michael Vick, he looks frustrated.
Well, you've got to have your teammates do their part, and so many times quarterbacks get too much praise when they actually are only a part of the success, and sometimes they get too much blame.
Well, tonight on CBS, he's a police chief who doesn't believe in cutting down crime. He believes in ending it for good. Greg T. Nelson stars in an all-new episode of what viewers are calling the best new drama of the year. Check it out, The District, tonight on CBS.
Learned something about Mike Vick this week. I did not realize that he is right-handed.
Yeah.
Everything he does.
You're on a first-name basis with this.
Well, I'm just saying it's not Michael.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'd like to be.
But you're right. We saw him right, and you kind of mentioned, hey, you're left-handed. No, I right-handed.
Yeah, he says he does everything right-handed except throw a football. And he does that quite well, so I would say, Mike, stay with that. You know, he has the chance to become one of the first-name athletes. You've got Wilt, you've got Michael, Jordan, yeah, you got Tiger, Bowler.
Were you known as just Dean or Dino?
There was another name or two that I was known by, actually.
Oh. I have a feeling we shouldn't go there.
Yeah, let's get on back to the action.
4 wide receivers. Kendrick, the lone back, low snap. Vick has to dance and run, cut down at the 15-yard line.
This is a test of the patience of the quarterback. He's not getting help. I mean, his receiver's not reading right, the routes correctly. His offensive line has let him down a lot on protection, and that was a pitiful snap that disrupted that play.
You know, Vick is built 6'1", 215. But yet, as we talked to Frank Beamer, make no mistake, he has been beaten up against West Virginia. He got knocked around against Syracuse. Tough guy indeed. But as the season wears on, week 8, another low snap. Vick feels pressure, and down he goes. He was in a crowd of white jerseys led by Paco.
This play blew up from all corners. A terrific job by Pittsburgh. All the pressure, another bad snap.
Vick is turned around, and he is down. Boy, I don't like the pileup.
Someone pointing at the knee and the ankle. He already has that shin problem.
Boy, Vick being carried off.
Well, he's putting no weight on it. That is
on either ankle.
Yeah. And this has been a perfect example of the afternoon for Michael Vick. Bad snap, no blitz pickup, 5 guys get you, and you get beat up. That looks ominous.
Ponko, you see Ryan Smith, 58, on the pile. Hit from all sides. When you get stood up, Dean, as you know, that is one of the most dangerous positions for a quarterback.
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling, and hopefully we have an indication that it looks like an ankle, but we will wait to hear what it is officially at halftime. And Frank Beamer is not only worried about Mike Vick, he's also worried about this football game. I mean, his team's not played well at all.
Sunday on 60 Minutes, why is Jack Welch considered the best executive in America? In the world, for that matter. You'll get the answer Sunday on 60 Minutes. Cleared off here in Blacksburg, Virginia. Thought we maybe would get some rain, but things looking a little bluer in the sky.
Frank.
So go back, as you mentioned, Dean, rough afternoon for Michael Vick. Here's the first time as he was cleated. Took a high hit up on the numbers, and then watch the shin. Stepped on right there.
That had me out for about a month. Had him out for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he came back, and the injury on the second play seems unrelated to that. What's the ankle? Really hard to tell. I know it has this crowd stunned, and they are silent, and a lot of concern on the Virginia Tech sideline.
This will be a 38-yarder, and the kick is up and good after the bad snap. So Warley's hit from 35 and 38.
Well, he's having a good afternoon. That's saving the offense, and he has only had 3 field goal attempts all year coming into this game. So he's a perfect, I believe, 5 for 5.
20 all between Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh.
Well, the BCS standings will change. Nebraska will move down. And Oklahoma, I don't know who that club is, Craig, but they will go up to number 1. And Virginia Tech, I mean, this is a big game for Virginia Tech to hang in there. Oklahoma controls its own destiny, as does Virginia Tech. Nebraska will likely move down at least to number 5, number 4 or 5, I would think, because you have one-loss teams there with, what, Miami, Florida State, Florida, an undefeated Clemson. So Nebraska is going to have to fight its way back and go to the Big 12 championship game to perhaps have a shot at going to the Orange Bowl, whereas it's easier for Virginia. Just win out. Virginia Tech to win out.
You know, next week, so much talk here in Blacksburg about the game next week, and that's at Miami. They're in a battle here, 20 all.
Yeah, we were asking about possibly overlooking this game, and Frank Beamer said no way, but kids are kids. And they know what's on the schedule.
Touchback to the 20-yard line.
I have a feeling that it will be a lively locker room for Virginia Tech at halftime. And I know Pitt has some corrections to make as well, but I think overall they have to be pleased at where they are. They came in a 16.5-point underdog in this game. So on the road, leaving at half with a tie score has to be uplifting to Pittsburgh, which will now just down the football.
17 seconds left, 20 all. Turman will take a knee, and Pittsburgh will head to the locker room. Walt Harris on the road, trying to, as he told us, take the next level, take the next step.
Yeah. Call this a hump game for the university, for the program. They're halfway over the hump.
That ends the first half with the score tied. Virginia Tech 20, Pittsburgh 20. We go back now to Tim Brando in New York. Tim?
All right. Coming up on the AXA Halftime Report, we'll get you caught up on the day in college football, including the big 1-2 matchup between OU and Nebraska, after this word from your local station.
It's halftime in Blacksburg, and let's listen in now to the Marching Virginians. Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech tied up at 20. Second half coming up. And just moments away from the start of the third quarter, Craig Bolerjack back along with Dean Blevins, and the big topic around this country right here in Blacksburg, what is the condition of Michael Vick? We've been told he's been taken to the Student Health Center for x-rays on his leg, and so far we have not heard what the outcome of those x-rays have been. As soon as we hear, we'll let you know. It was a very rugged, though, first half for Michael Vick.
Well, it was. He didn't get a lot of help. He was missing his wide receiver, Davis, to begin the first half, and then the blitzes got to him, and this is the first injury that he sustained when he was cleated, his shin and his calf muscle. And he came out for a brief bit, goes back in, and after a few bad snaps and lack of protection, he is hammered once again. and we do not know the extent of it, although he is not with us right now. 8 completions, 15 attempts for the 80 yards and an interception, and Pittsburgh did a very nice job of containing Michael Vick that first half.
Well, you look at the halftime numbers. 20 all, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech. Only 11 rushing yards for Pittsburgh.
Well, you know, some of the numbers that jump out to me, here's time of possession is 2-1 favoring Virginia Tech. But there were only 7 passes attempted by Pittsburgh. They had some big plays, though. Their numbers in terms of big plays in the passing game, they had a 26-yarder, a 47-yarder, a 39-yarder, and one of the goals for most defenses, including Virginia Tech, is to get up no plays of over 25 yards, and they have not been successful there.
Warley kicks away. Darcy Levy takes a knee 3 yards deep, and so Pittsburgh, tied at 20, will start at their own 20-yard line. And we will keep you updated as soon as we find out about the condition of Michael Vick. Big half for John Turman. He threw when he had to, and he made the big play to Antonio Bryant.
Well, they call it a hump game for Pittsburgh, and Virginia Tech, it's at least that. A win, they move up to number 2 in the BCS rankings, and a win sets up the big Miami game next week. So there's a ton to be played for here in the second half.
Turman throws. Bryant, far side, wrestled down at the 22. Roniel Whitaker. And Dean, Virginia Tech has done so well in the Big East under Frank Beamer. They are undefeated, 5-0, 7-0 on the season. And Pittsburgh, you talked about the hump game. This is really what you're talking about. 2-1 in conference. A win today, 3-1 obviously, and 6-1, and would get some attention. Though some critics would say, well, what about Michael Vick if he does not return?
Yeah, well, we'll see what the quarterback does in his place right now, because he has to perform for them to have chances here at the end of the year to reach their goals.
Barlow to handoff. He got some work in the first quarter, not much in that second quarter of play, but he picks up yardage and a first down to the 32-yard line. Summers, along with Beasley, team up to make the stop.
Well, this guy who was in the doghouse earlier this year is completely out of it because he's holding on to the football, but a terrific job up front by his offensive line. That's more than a crease. The defense pushed back 5 yards, and it's a nice start to this half the way it was the first one for Barlow in the running game.
Well, Barlow, some pressure. Hometown guy from Pittsburgh, played at Peabody High School. 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. I formation, play action. Turman steps up, good protection, throws the deep ball. Double team coverage, incomplete. Tried to force it to Antonio Bryant. Good coverage. It's Eric Green. Nearly lost his pants.
Well, this time he gets a little help. It is Eric Green on the left side, the cornerback, but he also has Willie Pyle playing man free, the free safety coming over. Willie didn't get his head back. He was completely turned around in good position, but it doesn't do any good to be in position if you don't know where the football is.
I'd say Eric Green was a tremendous high school QB, return man, DB, did it all. You know, he won't be 19, Dean, until March 16th of 2001. That's young.
He's growing up this afternoon.
Timeout. We'll be back. Do you hear the applause? Could it be? It looks like Michael Vick has just arrived via ambulance. You see the crowd huddled down there. The wall kind of blocks our view, but we'll update you. Maybe he's back from the X-ray room. Turman, quarterback. They actually had Rutherford in before the timeout. Turman throws, complete at the 42-yard line. Antonio Bryant. And we do have Michael Vick being helped out of the ambulance, but gingerly.
That's not a good sign. Shoe off. He looks like he will not be playing this afternoon, so the immediate concern is his health and how quickly could he come back.
And now Rod Rutherford has checked in. He can play quarterback. He can play wide out. He's a great kick return man, but he also runs the option. Walt Harris does not hesitate to mix it up when needed. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Rutherford flags her down, trying to run the option. Little pitch to Barlow. Oh, he's in big trouble. Dropped at the 36. Good pursuit by Pugh.
Well, when Rutherford goes in, teams know to look for perimeter stuff. They're looking for option things, and that's exactly what came at him there in that first play, and Rutherford trots back off. Earlier in the year, he had the element of surprise, Craig.
Turman's going to come back in.
Illegal motion
Tom Joseph.
against the offense. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Well, it's time for our Aflac trivia question. Who was the first unanimous All-American in Virginia Tech history?
My guess, Bruce Smith.
All right. We'll run a few plays.
That was my guess last night. I know it's wrong.
R.J. English in motion, 2nd down. Turman throws, batted down, line of scrimmage. Beasley for the second time today.
Yeah, perfect job by Beasley. If you can't get there, the next thing you do is try to swat the ball down. And here's a 6'5", 285-pound defensive tackle. And
cut.
Yeah, he's a good one, a get-in-your-face type guy. And yeah, he's not there, but he swats it down. And that's always a concern for quarterbacks. You've got to find passing lanes. It's not nearly as easy throwing a football as people sitting in the stands think. You've got to find a man open, and then you've got to find a passing lane. Then you've got to be good enough to get it there.
Well, Beasley comes from that great bloodline. His daddy, Tom, played D-line at Tech. Won a couple of Super Bowls with the Steelers. Turman in trouble. Dances and throws. Across the field, complete.
Matt Turman is quietly having an outstanding football game, as is Lateef Grimm. But that's several times now, Turman has been able to buy some time and find the receiver open.
What I like is the fact that Grimm came back to help his quarterback. He's in trouble, still runs his route, and picks up 18 and a 1st down.
And that's what Bryant did earlier. And we'll watch on an isolation here on Grimm, the inside receiver, do exactly what Craig is talking about. Come back, find a soft area, find an open area, and let the quarterback find you.
1st and 10, Pittsburgh at the 46-yard line. Turman in the pocket. Runs in trouble. Dodges, still throws, connects. All that, and you pick up a yard.
Hey, that's great team defense.
Lusaka Polite tackled by Adibi, number 83.
I'm talking about team defense. Every player on the field was in position, was in the position he should have been in. I mean, I'm talking about the secondary had their men. There was no place for Turman to go initially, and then he buys time thinking that surely someone will break free. Polite does, but impolitely, the defense takes care of him.
Rutherford back in. 9th play of this drive. 2nd down and 8. Flags again down. And they pitch it out to Nick Goins, but
I think there's movement offensively, and they'll take that back 5 yards.
New quarterback, Dean, always means some timing difficulties.
It does, and earlier we had a center exchange as a problem for Virginia Tech, and if you use more than one center, that can be a problem, and 2 quarterbacks can as well. There's Walt Harris with Rutherford there right here, and he said about Rutherford, another huge statement. He said that Michael Vick was the best football player he had ever seen. He calls this guy the most talented. He thinks this guy's the most talented football player he's ever seen, this guy.
2 fouls on the play. Dead ball. False start. Offense. Dead ball. Late hit. On the defense. Both fouls will be enforced.
So Walt Harris is extremely high on Rutherford. In other words, he thinks the world of Rutherford and Vick. The statements could not be bigger than what he has said about these guys. And Rutherford is a dangerous receiver. He's a dangerous return man, but he came to Pittsburgh to play quarterback, and that's where he will wind up playing.
Well, marks this penalty off just inside the 35-yard line of Virginia Tech.
Late hit.
Crowd in disagreement.
That's a big penalty against Virginia Tech. Crowd doesn't like that, yeah.
Rutherford stays at quarterback as Frank Beamer walks a groove on that sideline. Grimm and Bryant line up to the near side. From the eye, 1st and 10. Boy, quick hit to Polite. Lusaka Polite, a freshman out of Pittsburgh, Woodland Hills High School.
Well, he's one of those guys at fullback that has a typical fullback body. I mean, he's built like a fire hydrant, and he's got the body fat of 1-2. 6 feet, 240, only 19 years of age. Fire hydrant doesn't have much body fat, does
I don't think he has one of those things that has any. But he is a fire plug indeed. 2nd down at 6. Again, the 2 wide receivers set to the near side. Rutherford, the quarterback, on the option. They pitch to Barlow. Stacked up, driven out at the 30. Ben Taylor driving him out of bounds. Well, tomorrow here on CBS, it's the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Begins at high noon Eastern here on CBS. And then stay tuned for the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Jim Nantz, Mike Ditka, Randy Cross will have all the scores and highlights and the latest NFL news. That's tomorrow on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. And Leslie Pfister's been out getting the latest on Troy Aikman.
Well, Troy's been struggling with those concussions and getting a little bit older, and his team not being as good. It's been not much fun for Troy Aikman recently.
Turman back in through the slant, incomplete collision. Antonio Bryant was the intended receiver, but he took a lick from Whitaker.
Yeah, he was looking back at the official and saying that Roniel Whitaker was all over me. And we'll get a good look at it. Top of your screen, Antonio. Well, that was an uncatchable ball, so regardless of when regardless of when the contact was made, and it seemed to be simultaneous with when the ball would have been there anyway, but since it was uncatchable, it wouldn't matter.
We'll look at Whitaker, a sophomore out of Norfolk, Virginia. 4th and 5, and Pittsburgh will go for it. Turman under center.
Man-to-man down here, bottom of the screen.
Sets and throws underneath. Juggled and picked off. It's the old tip drill. Eric Green with his 4th interception of the season.
This play was very well covered. Going underneath. And once again, the big stud, Corey Bird, the Birdman, makes all this happen. And Eric Green, when he looks back on this, will say, I shouldn't have caught that ball because I lose some yardage as Bird, perfect position, left hand in there. But after a long day that he's had, if he gets a chance for an interception, he's not going to drop the football.
Well, with Vick out with the injury, Meyer is in. Hello. Hello, Gerald Hayes, he says. And he hits Suggs right on the numbers.
Well, the coaches tell us that he is a technique tackler, and that's a perfect example of it. They believe that he has a chance to be something special. He sure has the size for a 19-year-old, 6'3", 235, and he can fly. He's played some Sam and middle linebacker.
Wolford and Johnson lined up to the far side. 2 wide receivers set. 2nd down and 9. Meyer sets and throws. Nearly intercepted. Boy, Mark Paco nearly dug that out of the turf. There's Michael Vick, the right ankle. Negative on the x-rays, Dean. That's the good news. Will not return, but it's sprained.
That is really good news. So the question immediately goes, how long?
Yeah.
You rejoice that it's nothing more than an ankle sprain, but immediately, Michael, can you play next weekend? But before next weekend is important.
Right now.
They've got to win this game, and Dave Meyer has to do something special.
From the shotgun, 3rd down. Meyer over the middle. Browning win. 4th reception of the year. Shante Spencer, the freshman, knocked him down, but Browning Wynn, the backup to Solkowski at tight end, picks up 28 and a first down.
Well, he finds a little seam in there, and that is a perfectly thrown ball. Not an easy ball to throw for Dave Meyer, who knows it's a big play. And I have a statistic that is hard to believe. Browning Wynn now has 12 career catches. Each one of them has gone for a first down. I've not seen that stat.
No. So Meyer just picked up 28 on that throw. He was 3 of 6 for 38 yards coming into this game. On a pitch to Suggs. Met and driven back. Amir Purifoy. So Lee Suggs trying to get outside, but hard to get. We haven't talked much about Purifoy today. A good middle backer, a junior out of Homestead, Pennsylvania, and he's got the size.
Well, he does. He's a 235-pounder, and he's another one of those leader-in-your-face type guys. Paul Rhodes is being successful defensively against Virginia Tech for most of this afternoon, as you see Purifoy's numbers. But the game plan was to keep Virginia Tech to less than 4 yards on first down and then keep the receivers in front of them. They're in 2nd and 11 now.
From the shotgun. Ferguson picks up 8. Boy, he just carries 1, 2, 3, 4 white jerseys. Jarret Ferguson. Well, you talked about Kendricks being a fire plug at 5'7". Ferguson, maybe some lifts in the shoes, stands 5'9". Well, tough to bring down. He's around that 220 back.
And he shows why they finally gave him a scholarship, a walk-on player initially. And he has started now 27, as the number on his back shows. 27 consecutive games. He's a good player.
Kendrick in motion. Suggs the handoff. First down. Paco made the stop.
And I would think that Michael Vick's presence on the sideline, Craig, would be a lift to his teammates.
I would think that looms large, especially maybe for Dave Meyer. Vick, of course, can put the headset on, can voice his opinion in situations.
Well, and yeah, I agree, but I don't think he has to say anything. I think seeing your leader, your Heisman candidate, your friend, a guy that is extremely popular on this team, seeing him back on the sideline and just knowing that he's okay is a lift.
Well, the offense now belongs to Meyer. He'll need help from Suggs. Andre Davis, who we mentioned earlier, Dean, their fine wide receiver, also out of this game, did not play because of Achilles and an ankle problem.
Well, you mentioned Troy Aikman. That's like Troy Aikman being out and Michael Urban being out and saying, Emmitt Smith, it's yours.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little more difficult.
Well, Suggs hurt you because here comes Suggs down the sideline and rumbles to the 14.
On cue, number 22. I believe Emmitt's number 22.
I believe you're right. There's that 4.27 40 speed.
I like this guy. Soft-spoken, polite young man, and he can play. I mean, he has strength to run on the inside, and there he shows you the power to run through a tackle, but also the speed around the corner. He has a chance to be a special back here. Only a redshirt sophomore. He was 180 pounds in high school and now is a 210-pounder.
28-yard pickup, 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Meyer, handoff to Suggs. Up the middle he goes. Well, he's dealing out the licks right now to the 6-yard line.
Yeah, and I think the offensive coordinator has just decided, Ricky Bustle, that when we get down here, we're going to bring 2 tight ends in, and you know what we're going to do. We're going to turn around and hand it to our backs and try to stuff it down your throat.
Suggs, 18 carries, 98 yards, a pair of touchdowns. He has 16 on the season. He came in averaging just under 95 yards a game, so he's past that. 2nd down from the eye, handoff right up the middle, touchdown. It's Ferguson.
Craig, that's a big, big touchdown drive. This offense, although it was 20-20, they had not played very well in the first half. And to be able to come out with a new quarterback and take it down and knock it in the end zone, great blocking. And Michael Vick is a happy guy. And so are the rest of the Hokies.
Puts the left arm up. Extra point to come. Warley kicks it up and through. 6:40 left to play. Third quarter. Hokies by 7.
The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by Exxon, the United States Army, Solomon Smith Barney, and by Suzuki.
27-20, Virginia Tech over Pittsburgh, and that drive guided by Dave Meyer off the bench. They went 80 yards, 9 plays. And how about the completion to the tight end, Browning Wynn, 28 yards on a 3rd and 9, and then Suggs also with a big 28-yard pickup. But they rumbled down in just 3:36 off the clock.
Well, he's a popular player on this team, that quarterback, and he has a good head on him, and he's a good leader. You don't really look at a backup quarterback as being a good leader necessarily, but this guy is. That'll be called down.
Down at the 12. Boy, Sean Witten really came in to make the hit.
Well, running it out from 5 yards deep is questionable at best, especially against Virginia Tech. Textbook tackle. Get them low. They have nowhere to go.
Boy, Levy spun around like a top. Nice hit by Witten. Pittsburgh down 7. Goings, maybe 5 to the 17. And here's the answer to our Aflac trivia question. Who was the first unanimous All-American in Virginia Tech history? Now, you said Bruce Smith. No, sir. 1993, Jim Pine.
Jim Pine, the center. Outstanding center here. 1 sack, 42 games. I thought that Matt Lair had a great year last year. He allowed 1 sack in 99, but he's got nothing on Pine.
Barlow on the draw. Sticks his helmet to the 20. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Philip Summers, the rover, made the stop. Well, Barlow last week crashed through that BC secondary for 209 yards and a touchdown on 25 carries. The going has been a little tougher today. Pittsburgh 2 of 6 on 3rd down tries. They're looking at 3rd down and 3.
What they would like to do is get him up here and check to a fade, but Virginia Tech will have no part of that.
Furman bouncing out of the pocket, chased and then swarmed down. Boy, this crowd back in it. Beasley and Pugh. Well, the roommates team up to make the stop.
It's noisy, so the offensive line holds hands on this play. And Turman looks like a guy on a treadmill. He's moving real fast, and he's not going anywhere.
Big defensive stand. The punt is away by Andy Lee. Whitaker pedals back at the 37.
Ooh!
And to midfield.
Oh, there was a whale of a block.
Was it Brian Knight?
It was McAdams. Wow.
Michael Vick looking on. We'll be back.
And now a look at this week's Suzuki Heisman Watch Update.
Back in New York, Tim Brando alongside Spencer Tillman. He's pretty happy about what happened to Josh Heupel today. In the biggest game of his life, he had a huge afternoon.
Yeah, what can you say? In complete command after, of course, they shake off the bye-week rust. Josh Heupel, 20 of 34, 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 8 carries for 46 yards. Not bad. 8 different receivers Josh Heupel found en route for the upset of #1 Nebraska.
Michael Vick, are you listening? For more information on the Suzuki Heisman Watch, log on to cbs.sportsline.com.
Other names you have to consider, guys in the Heisman race: Breeze, Tomlinson, Dantzler. You got a vote, too, by the way, don't you?
I do, and it's wide open, and Winky is still on my chart. Watch the blow here. There's a block coming in by McAdam, number 5, top of your screen. You'll barely get a look at it, but you got a better look than the man being blocked, because on punt plays, a lot of blindside hits, and that was a terrific one.
4:31 left, third quarter. Hendrick, a couple of yards to the 46.
You know, the outstanding special teams play by the Hokies year in, year out makes their drives shorter. They have a lot of short fields to play with. And that's a trademark of that guy. One of the most respected coaches in the business, and one of the best coaches in the business.
You know, I asked him yesterday, we had a great talk with him, 69 graduate of Virginia Tech. How tough is it to come back to your alma mater? It is difficult. But yet he says, you know, when you leave, you leave proud if you do it the right way.
Well, and that's why I know there have been other schools interested in Frank Beamer and would want Frank Beamer. But his answer has been, you know, it's been a challenge to build this program and build it, and I want to leave knowing that I have contributed to something that has gotten it to another level. You know, you look around the country, a guy like Beamer would only take a job if it were a power. You know, I mean, just pick out a school, a USC, a Notre Dame, an Oklahoma, those types of programs, Texas, but that doesn't fit that category for them. They've already achieved those levels at those schools.
3rd down and 10. Meyer sets up and throws. Man-on-man coverage. Turned one way, back the other. Emmett Johnson had his man beat. It was Sean Robinson. But he looked inside and had to turn back out. And that brings up 4th down.
Well, there just is not good communication, at least today, between the quarterbacks and the receivers. See that? He says, what happened? And he felt that it was a corner route, that it was a play where the receiver should have his head turned around to his left on a corner route. That's why he threw it there.
Priestley to punt. Or the left footer got it all.
It's good for the stats, but not for the team.
Well, next Saturday, the Hokies will battle Miami in a top 5 showdown. And the big question right now is, will Michael Vick be able to play? Out right now with a sprained ankle. And in the SEC, it's Alabama and LSU. It's a Home Depot college football doubleheader next Saturday on CBS Sports. And that's not a scene Hokie fans or anyone around this country wants to take a look at, with the jacket on his shoulders and on crutches and that right ankle in a splint.
And it's not as though other people here know his status, and we're just not being told. The coaching staff from Virginia Tech up here in the booth, they don't know his status for next week.
7-point lead for Virginia Tech. Pittsburgh will start at the 20-yard line. Barlow, not much, maybe a yard. Boy, swarming Hokie defense. Summers was there, the roverback. And Barlow has just pretty much been snuffed out here in this second and third quarter.
Yeah, good look at number 8 in your living room. He's leaving your living room, and number 8, Philip Summers, makes a nice play. I mentioned a minute ago the field position. Pittsburgh is starting inside its 27 this time, but they have averaged starting from their own 27, Tech from its 39. So that's a 12-yard advantage each time.
4 wide receivers. Long count. Turman steps up and throws. Antonio Bryant. So tough after the catch. He got a good spot. They bounced him out around the 40, but they'll mark him out at the 43. Roniel Whitaker, the cover man.
Well, that guy's going to play in the NFL. There's no question. AB can do it. And you look out there from where we're looking at, and you see him in man coverage, and you know, gosh, you got to go to it automatically. 6'2", he's a big target. Only 19 years of age, but when he gets man-on-man coverage out there, you should check to that every time, and he did that time, and it worked.
6 receptions on the day, 85 yards and a pair of touchdowns. 1st and 10. Nick Goins in the backfield for Pittsburgh. Turman having a good day throwing. Looking for Bryant. This time overthrows his wide receiver. Incomplete. Stops the clock with 2:02 left, third quarter. Boy, last season, look at this against Virginia Tech. 13 receptions today, he has 6. Yards, 215 today, 85. and he's doubled up his touchdowns from a year ago. Remember, this was a freshman a year ago, now a sophomore, and what's made him better, as we talked about in the first half, he's not freelancing. He knows the routes that Walt Harris wants to run.
Yeah, and he's playing within the system, and he told me that he prefers the deeper routes. I said, what do you like to run? He says, post, digs, the post corners, or anything they throw me.
Virginia Tech calls timeout. Frank Beamer up by 7. Here's our Exxon scoring recap. It was a track meet early. Suggs scores. Grimm got in for Pittsburgh. They missed the point after. Bryant, then Warley hit a field goal. Suggs from 2 yards out. Bryant with the touchdown. Warley from 38. And Ferguson from 6 yards out. 27-20, and that's how we got here. And the big story, Dean Blevins, is number 7, Michael Vick.
Well, he was taking punishment early in this game, and this is the first time that he stayed down on the ground after a cleat onto the shin or calf muscle. Out for a few plays, back in, more pressure. And this time, 3 or 4 of them twist him around and do damage to his ankle. Headed to the hospital, x-rays negative. And with the jacket on, Michael Vick right here. Question mark next week. He can't do anything about this game. I mean, he's turned it over to his friend at quarterback. He's saying, please, Meyer, get us the victory so next week I'll have a chance.
2nd down and 10. Turman sends 4 wide receivers. Again, going up top. Lateef Grimm right on the numbers, out of bounds inside the 20. He beat Eric Green. Well, Lateef Grimm must have talked to Walt Harris this past week, because a week ago against Boston College, he only touched it, got 1 reception for 4 yards.
Well, Lateef Grimm does a terrific job here, but the quarterback does as well. And what happens is you get number 1, the rookie, Eric Green, out there on that island all by himself, which we talked about all day long. That's what Virginia Tech was hoping to avoid. But by not getting pressure with a straight 4-man rush, you're going to see numbers like that from Lateef Grimm. 100 yards.
Yeah, 3 receptions, 100 yards. Again, now a 5 wide outs. They put Polite in motion. Turman throws, complete to the near side. Antonio Bryant near the first down marker around the 8-yard line. Game tackle by Whitaker and Summers.
You know, last year, Walt Harris's bunch didn't come out with a win, but they racked up some big numbers throwing the football at home against Virginia Tech.
You know, David Priestley actually played in that game, not Turman. Priestley, who's the backup now to John Turman. 407 yards, as you mentioned, against Virginia Tech, and only a touchdown on that day, but they did some damage in that secondary of Virginia Tech. Turman doing the same thing this afternoon. And Lateef Grimm now with the 3 catches, over 100 yards, his 9th career 100-yard performance.
I think Turman is getting better weekly at reading defenses and going to the right man.
By about a football length. I like that combo. Dynamic, you're right. Lateef Grimm and Antonio Bryant. Look at the numbers today. Nearly
200.
Yeah, 94 for Antonio Bryant.
Yep, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns.
You know, right now that duo is the #1 combination in the Big East. And running second, a close second, is a couple of great wideouts at Miami, Reggie Wayne and Santana Moss.
This league has great receivers. Bud Foster at Tech saying that he felt this tandem was as good as any in the country. And he may come back and say that next week when he plays down in Miami, because Santana can get after it.
That's the first time that Lateef has had a 100-yard game since the finale at West Virginia. In a long dry spell. English in motion. 2nd down, short yardage, and the ball goes to Lusaka Polite. I put him on one of my football name lists. Lusaka Polite.
Does that go back with Shaka Martin? What is it, Shaka Martin?
Shaka.
Takasaki, we had him that same week. A lot of Akas working this year, you know?
There is.
Boy, Pittsburgh really struggling on the ground. Craig and I were talking, I think that soon the NCAA will surely adopt the statistical premise where you don't take the sack yardage into account with rushing. That's one of the reasons that number is so low. But Virginia Tech defense has done a nice job against the run, but not quite that good.
Walt Harris looks on, 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator, looks on for Virginia Tech. Polite the lone back. English in motion. 1st and goal. Herman pedals back. Good protection. Tucks and runs. Flags are down. Adibi, Nathaniel Adibi making the stop, number 83.
Also down, number 2, Roniel Whitaker. He's down on the 5-yard line, and it looked to be he's holding the ankle. And they cannot afford to lose him. Austin already out. The former starter. He's done for the year.
Face mask on the defense. Half the distance from the end of the run. Still 1st down.
1st down.
Turman has a quick chat as you look here at the replay of the face mask.
See if we can pick it up here toward the end of this play. Yep. Good call, inadvertent.
Whistled on Adibi.
Adibi will be a great player. He is not a great player now, a little undersized and young.
Off the left side, struggling for yards is Barlow. Corey Bird, who's been very busy, a quiet leader. He does his talking by the way he plays. 3-year Letterman.
Yeah, what did the Birdman tell us the other day? I've always been taught to go to the football. Look at those arms on him. He said, when you go to the football, good things happen. And that's true for defensive players.
2nd and goal. Clock ticking down here in the 3rd quarter. Turman on the option to pitch it. Barlow still on his feet. Whoa. Touchdown.
Wow, what a determined, strong run by Barlow. It looked like he would be stopped at the 5-yard line. And he will run through the tackle of Housewright, number 41. Housewright fights off his block. Looked like he was going to make the play, but I'm kind of surprised they're going for 1 here. No, take that back. They're 1 behind. I had it reversed. I thought they were 1 up and could go 3 up. Yeah, this would tie the game.
Look at Walt Harris. Calm. Extra point to come. Nick Lotz. Good snap, good hold. Line drive through the uprights. 27 all in Blacksburg. Kevin Barlow with his 4th rushing touchdown. You know, he told us, hey, I'm on the Eddie George workout regimen. And that's tough. I mean, Eddie George struggling right now injury-wise, but boy, cut down the body fat, helped down his cardiovascular endurance, and Barlow having himself a good year.
Well, and he's also learned that he can't be an east-west runner. He is better north and south. He does have some speed. He can run away from people or go over them, but he really is not an east-west runner. Has terrific hands, and I mentioned earlier he's expected to be a first-day guy in the NFL draft when he finishes. This is his senior year. And those hands would come in handy in the play.
Lots to kick. Short kick. Kendrick. Now they're going to reverse it back to Suggs, and he has to cover up inside the 10-yard line.
Well, on a day that Michael Vick is on the sideline injured, you don't need to make those types of errors. You need every inch of field position you can muster. Watch the handoff coming back to Suggs. Never had it. The ball was handed below the waist. It was below his navel. And that's not the old breadbasket.
26 left on the 3rd quarter clock. 1st and 10. from the 8-yard line. Boy, almost a fumbled snap. Suggs steps onto the block down the sideline to the 25. Humphreys, the free safety for Pittsburgh, made the tackle. Well, a 17-yard gain.
You could see what I saw, a great run by Suggs. So let's watch the end of the play and see if the fans and the coaching staff are correct in saying it was a late hit. Suggs.
Well, they're looking for face mask. Kind of scraped him across the face.
Face mask, okay. I was looking for the late hit. So was it a face mask? Could you tell?
It was inadvertent.
Yeah, 5 yards.
It was a scrape. How about that? 2.5 yards. First and 10, 13-6 left. Fumble on the snap.
Kick, and it goes to Pittsburgh.
Oh, he had trouble the last time when he got the ball to Suggs, and he fumbles. And Gonzalez, the middle backer, covers up for Pittsburgh.
Well, sooner or later, if you're not getting the snap from center, the simplest play in football, it'll bite you. And they bobbled it off and on all day long. And this time, it bites them. They look like the quarterback would recover, but it ends up being kicked right there. The ball was kicked by Browning Wynn, the tight end, and Pittsburgh is in business.
Gonzalez picked up the loose football, first and 10 at the 29-yard line of Virginia Tech.
See if they pick on 25, Billy Hardy in for Whitaker.
Thurman play action. Deep ball to the corner. Antonio Bryant.
That may have been a spectacular catch. Oh, my. This is about as good as it gets in college football. Going for the jugular, Walt Harris says Antonio post corner and make it happen. 1 foot, it's there. Unbelievable reception.
Thurman put it right on the number, 29 yards. 8 receptions, 122 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Antonio Bryant.
Any question why he leads the country?
Extra point, Lotz kicks it up and through. So after the fumble, you mentioned Walt Harris went right to the post corner route, and Thurman put it right on his hand.
Boy, he did. We talk about AB. We talk about the receiver. But let's look at the quarterback. Thurman gets the protection, and he lays it where only his man can catch it. Left foot in. Raise the hand, man in the striped shirt. Post corner, 2 men over there defending. But it's hard to beat a perfectly thrown ball with the receiver with that type of size. This place is quiet.
Oh, it went dead.
Like air out of a balloon.
122 yards today for Bryant. Last week, Big East Offensive Player of the Week with 222 yards against Boston College on 8 receptions. He had 2 big touchdowns of 41 and 67.
And what a big game, folks. I mean, I don't mean to look past this game because it's such a huge game for the University of Pittsburgh. They had a big win last weekend. They're calling this a hump game, so it's huge for them. But for Virginia Tech, a chance to move up to 2 in the BCS poll, a chance to set itself up for a big game next week against Miami. And it all goes down the tubes if they stumble here.
Kendrick back to receive the kick from Lotz. Another short kick. Kendrick at the 10. Kendrick into the pile and stumbles to the 36-yard line. Torrey Cox in on the tackle. Well, that's the end of the third quarter, and a wild one. Pittsburgh leading Virginia Tech 34-27. We'll return to Lane Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
You're watching your hometown station, WDBJ 7.
55,075 on hand to watch for second-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies take on Pittsburgh. Very quiet inside Lane Stadium is Michael Vick on the bench. Ankle sprain. It's in a plastic walking cast. He will not play the remainder of the afternoon, and his availability for next week against Miami, as we know right now, we don't know. Suggs breaks it up the middle, turns on the burner to the 45-yard line. Tackle by Spencer and Humphreys.
Well, again, here are the two Michael Vick plays that really sent him to the bench. The first one sent him to the bench after being cleated in the shin, and the second one not only sent him to the bench, but sent him to the hospital and sent that mini cast on his leg as he has an undisclosed ankle injury. We do know that the x-rays were negative, but we don't know the extent of the injury, nor do the coaches.
Kendrick works his way outside to the 37-yard line, tackled by Paco. And then you look at the numbers that Vick put up in the first half. 8 of 15 for 80 yards. Had the one interception on that tip drill pick by Pittsburgh. 10 carries and 34 yards.
Well, he hurt his Heisman chances for sure. If his team were to lose here, that would maybe, I don't want to say put an end to it, but it really hurt them. You had Crouch losing at Nebraska. He really hurt himself, maybe out of it. You have Danzler still alive. Heupel helping his chances, and Breeze not knowing what he did today. So it's kind of shakeout day for the Heisman.
How about down Florida State play?
Winky.
Yeah.
Got to keep him in mind.
Kendrick, not much outside, try to cut back inside and maybe a yard to the 37.
You know, Winky has been overlooked, just like I overlooked him there for a moment. People have kind of looked past him. He's throwing for 500 yards every time you look
up. It's been a very quiet media year.
Well, I think when they lost early in the year, it took some focus off of them. People said, we're not really going to pay much attention until you play late in the year. You play Clemson and some of the bigger games late.
3rd down and 3. Virginia Tech under home field, down by 7. Under 14 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. Clock spins close. It will depend on the spot. It's right on the line. Ryan Gonzalez made the tackle for Pittsburgh. 1st down, Hokies. Well, our Rigid Tools Scholar Athlete of the game is Virginia Tech offensive lineman Dave Cadella. Rigid Tools' commitment to the investment of our future shown today by donating $1,000 to the Virginia Tech General Scholarship Fund. 3.01 in finance.
He said his job was to protect the franchise. Well, the franchise is not protected today, but he's still a fine ball player. 2nd Big East, all Big East in 99.
Myers sets it up, ball batted down. And for an update on Notre Dame Air Force, let's go back to New York, and here's Tim Brando.
Craig and Dean, Air Force had a 28-yard field goal blocked on the last play of regulation to win the game, and then in overtime, Matt LaVecchio with a reverse Joey Petherall off the reverse, 9 yards in overtime. Notre Dame stays alive for a BCS Bowl, 34-31 over the Fighting Falcons of Air Force.
Well, one thing you know, Tim, when those two play, or at least when Notre Dame plays, it's going to be an exciting finish. They have had a lot of close games this year, and I'm going to look up here in a little bit, and they're going to be about 8-2.
Don't forget LaVecchio, a true freshman who was playing high school football in New Jersey a year ago. Meyer on the option. Decides to tuck and run, and he's buried at the 32. Hit by Mike White.
What a huge possession this is for Virginia Tech. They are essentially, I would think, in 4-down territory. So if you believe that, you have 2 downs to make 7.5 yards.
And the clock is running. Under 13 minutes left. Frank Beamer trying to keep his season perfect. They walk in here 7-0, 5-0 in Big East play. On the shotgun, 3rd down, 7. Daring you to throw it. Meyer throws it. Rainbow hangs up. Oh, he came back. Emmett Johnson at the 3-yard line.
I said they were daring them to throw, and yes, they were. Man-on-man, top left of your screen. And let's watch as Johnson comes back to catch this ball and see if it's a legal catch. It looked to me to be legal. It looked like he caught the football. His arms were under the ball before it hit the ground.
29-yard pass play. First and goal inside the 5. Kendrick in motion. Suggs squeezes through. Touchdown.
Well, when Virginia Tech gets inside the 10-yard line, they don't do anything fancy. Suggs hammer it in there. That makes everyone in attendance happy, including MV.
An unbelievable 17th touchdown via the ground for Lee Suggs. Now the extra point by Warley is good. 34-all.
Great answer.
You better stay right here. And Blacksburg, Virginia, 34-all. Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech. I'll tell you, Suggs with 3 touchdowns today.
Well, you mentioned it. 17 touchdowns right now. Is that right? 17 total.
17 on the ground.
Yeah, 7 3/4 games. That's a pretty good clip.
Now, Virginia Tech went 8 plays, 64 yards, and they did it quickly. Less than 3 minutes off the clock. 2:48.
And that was a great answer. The question was posed by Pittsburgh after the touchdown by Walt Harris's crew. Can you come back? Can you do it with Michael Vick on the sideline? We dare you. And the answer was yes.
Warley has it teed up at the 35-yard line. High hanger. On the run is Levy, and dropped at the 23. Let's go back to Dean and your report card.
I felt coming in that this is what Pittsburgh had to do to win. I grade them at this point in the game an A for containing Vick. Big plays, they have made them. Look at those A's. Those are a little bit weak. And a C. A C for the break-even in the kicking game, and an F for my penmanship.
You know what happens now with Vick on the sideline? They must try to contain Meyer, confuse him.
And now this crowd will become a factor in the game. It'll be very difficult for this offense to communicate, to make checks, to make audibles.
12:09 left in the 4th quarter. Turman throws out of the backfield. English takes a shot. He'll pick up a couple. Philip Summers laid the helmet on him at the 27.
I like this Summers guy. He's been in for Bird, and he'll stick his helmet in there. Now, this defense is one that plays a nickel package within its system. It's an 8-man front concept, and so they don't have to substitute to get to nickel or dime, and that's an advantage for that guy right there, Bud Foster and his group.
Been around 14 years at Virginia Tech, 6th as the defensive coordinator. Graham and Bryant, the 2 wideouts, 2nd down and 7. Turman steps up in the pocket and is down. He'll lose about 4. Back to the 24. David Pugh. And Michael Vick cheering on that sideline.
David Pugh is a really good football player. Look at him with the big rush here. Gets the pressure on. This guy plays every snap, every game. He started every game of his career. He's rated by a lot of people in the top 15 at his position in the entire college football ring.
3rd down and 10. Backs are split. Turman pedals back, feels pressure. He's got room to run. Turman, he's tripped up. Jim Davis, number 95, saved a big gainer for Pittsburgh.
Davis is a key reserve, and you see why they say that about him. Watch his speed. Barely gets the ankles of the quarterback, and had he not gotten Turman, he easily runs for a first, and Craig, he may have taken that out to midfield.
At a wide open lane, Andy Lee in to punt.
If you're Pitt, you're just trying to get it off firstly. In the first place, you had the wind behind you, and he takes advantage of the wind.
Whitaker inside the 25. Heads to the near side, tries to pick up the lane, and falls down at the 36-yard line. Brian Knight made the special teams tackle. 34 all.
The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by Chevy Trucks, Neutrogena T-Gel, First Union, and by Top Flight XL 2000.
Michael Vick with the jacket as this night begins to cool off, and you see on the right foot a walking cast. Got the boot. Negative on the x-rays, but a sprained ankle indeed, and his status still uncertain for next week.
Well, everyone hopes that it is a sprained ankle. That's the report. If it is, I've had sprained ankles that I came back in a week, and I had one time I was out for 6 weeks. So we'll just see if it is indeed a sprain and how serious.
Well, the pressure now on the shoulders of Dave Meyer. Let's get an update on Georgia and Florida. Let's go back to New York. Here's Tim Brando.
Craig and Dean, as you both know, Quincy Carter's been in and out of this game a couple of times with injuries. 4th down and goal at the 1. Key play. Finds his man, that's Jasper Sanks, for the touchdown. Georgia still very much involved in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
A lot of ball games going on around the country. What a comeback for Jim Donnan and company.
27-23 there. It's 34 all here in Blacksburg. Virginia, 2nd down and 10.
Tough to win at the Swamp and tough to win here.
Suggs breaks the tackle, nearly able to go all the way down the sideline. Stumbles at the 46, and Paco able to pull him down.
He saved the touchdown.
He did.
Paco saved the touchdown there.
Suggs was a step away. And Dean, here's the numbers as you look at what Michael Vick did before the injury. And Dave Meyer has come in and done a fabulous job. 49 plays compared to 26 from Meyer. 200 total yards. Meyer has produced 180.
Well, the knock on him earlier in his career was that he was not a confident player. And you have to be a confident player to be the quarterback. But he is gaining in confidence, and he's more mature.
Suggs on the pitch. Pittsburgh closed quickly. No gain back at the 46. Hayes and Knight.
You know what was that? 49 plays was it on Michael Vick a moment ago? I think it was 49 in the first half. They had such a play advantage on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh ran 21 first half plays. That's not very many. You know, you average 72 plays a game.
You mentioned time of possession was 2-1.
2-1, yeah. I've always looked at plays, though, more so than time of possession. They were hammered in both plays.
This will be the 75th play for Virginia Tech. It's out to Suggs in the flat. Breaks the tackle. Chopped down at the 36-yard line. And again, Paco has covered this field for Pittsburgh from the far sideline to the near sideline. 19-yard play.
Suggs is stepping up and becoming a big-time talent. And at the end of this play, let's watch number 19, Wilford. You see him on the left side of your screen as he makes a key block. And also, no, he doesn't. He just gets hit. I saw him on the ground and thought that he was going to be wiped out. He's actually on the sideline now, but looks like it's not a serious injury. This guy can play. I mean, Suggs can really get it.
2 catches for 21. How about 24 carries for 150 and 3 touchdowns? Suggs gets a breather, and they put in Kendrick. He'll fight his way up to the 34. Under 8 minutes. And for an update on Central Florida and Alabama, back to New York, and here's Tim.
Now the Jekyll and Hyde act continues for Alabama. Losses last year to Louisiana Tech, and this year, Javier Borleghi of Central Florida boots it through from 37 yards out. They win it 40-38. Mike Dubose will be hearing a lot from the alumni this week in preparation for LSU.
Now that's a stunner.
Yeah.
That is a stunner, and we will be down in Baton Rouge for that LSU tilt.
Play action Meyer sets and throws. A tough catch, but pulled down by Ferguson. No, now they wave it off. Incomplete. That ball actually on the table, nearly picked off.
Well, I think you've got to get rid of this ball a little quicker. I think you get rid of it a little quicker or throw it to the primary receiver 20 yards deeper, now coming back with his feet in your shot there. But that brings up a 3rd and long, and a play that Pittsburgh desperately needs to hold Virginia Tech from getting that first, because it would be a very long field goal. It would be over 50 yards, and they have not kicked well at that distance.
Virginia Tech 10 of 15 on 3rd down tries. 4 on the play clock. Suggs gets the carry. Reaches out to the 28-yard line. Ryan Smith there to wrap him up.
Now Warley has a long of 47 yards. And did you say 29? So that would put it at the, what would that be, 36, a 46-yard field goal. So in his range, but they elect to go for it. And I watched the end of the Oklahoma-Nebraska game, did the same thing here. I think this is a good call when you get 4th and 5. If you don't make it, they still got to go a long way. And it's a marginal chance for a 3-point shot anyway.
Well, Warley's longest, 47. 4th down and 4. Now a timeout. Meyer went underneath the center, raised up, and called timeout. 34 all. Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech, 34 all. You see the wind up top of the stadium, brisk. Not straight out, but at times. There's a look at Carter Warley, redshirt freshman, who's hit a couple of field goals of 35 and 38. The Brain Trust has gathered, and they're going to send out their field goal unit.
Well, there are several things that I'm sure Frank Beamer took into consideration. Frank Beamer would have considered the wind, because it is probably 15 miles an hour into his kicker, and what would have happened if they had not made the first down, a shorter field. But this will be a 46-yarder into a big breeze.
Good snap, and the kick is away into a heavy wind. No good. Good leg, but pushed it to the left side.
And that's the risk you take. 46 yards is a stretch for most kickers in pressure situations, but into the wind even more so. And it's like a golf shot for all you golfers who play into the wind. The wind exaggerates any ball that is not dead straight, and a sidewinder kicks balls that are not straight.
It's called the fade.
That one missed to the left, correct?
So Warley misses from 46, 34 all, 6:23 left. Pittsburgh takes over at their own 29-yard line. 3 on the play clock. Turman, good protection, throws over the middle, complete. It was pulled down by English, the junior out of Waterford, Pennsylvania. 28-yard pickup. They don't go to R.J. English often, but that is a big 28-yard gain.
Well, that's another 4-man rush. The pressure did not get to him, so he had plenty of time for the route to develop. English finds a spot in zone coverage that time. And that's all of a sudden one play after you decide to go for the field goal. They've got the win. Pittsburgh on the 44.
Blitz. Man to coverage. And Antonio Bryant incomplete. Let's go back to New York, and here's Tim Brando.
Waiting in the wings, Craig Bowler-Jack, as you know, Miami taking on Louisiana Tech tonight. They'll get Virginia Tech next week. Santana Moss goes 43 yards to give the Canes the lead. Now think about this. If Virginia Tech loses to Pittsburgh, would a Miami win over Virginia Tech give them enough BCS points to make it into the national title? I'm not sure.
Very interesting thought. Yeah. So you're saying that I agree they may need Virginia Tech to win this ball game.
Bryant on the quick flip to the far side, driven out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Whitaker made the tackle. Clock will continue to run as we look at the Big East.
Tim's point is well grounded because some of these teams at the bottom portion of the league do not help your BCS standing. And at this point, Virginia Tech certainly would, but it would be diminished with a loss here today.
Pittsburgh 2 of 8 on third down conversions. They look at third down and 5. 5 wideouts.
Yeah, nobody back there. This means unless it's a quarterback draw, it is a pass.
Polite went in motion. Herman pumps and throws
Wide
over
open.
the middle. Incomplete.
Wide open.
R.J. English on the post pattern. And you read it from the start. He was wide open.
Well, it's much easier to play quarterback up here, I have learned. But he was wide open. English on a skinny post route against a zone. Against a zone, it should not be that wide open, and he knows he missed an opportunity. And he may not get another one of those. You don't have those opportunities much in games.
Well, Andy Lee will try to pooch this punt inside around the 10. Low snap. Sky high. Whitaker will let it fall. Takes a bounce, and it will drop at the 15. Call it the 16-yard line.
Now, that's where I say the punt team should catch the ball. It's totally legal for the punt team to catch it and not lose the 4 yards.
Michael Vick was injured just before half, and he'll have to wait this one out on the sideline. And here's our CBS Sportsline stat of the game. It's rushing yards. Virginia Tech 249. Thanks to a great game by Lee Suggs. Pittsburgh held to 34. For complete college football coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com.
But Pittsburgh saying, let's look at the passing numbers because Turman has made up that difference in the throwing game for Coach Walt Harris. Now, Virginia Tech is sitting here with a key drive, one of the most important of the entire season. They have Vick injured. They have Andre Davis out of the lineup. And now they have number 22, Suggs, who's carrying this team right now. And I think he'll have to be the one to win this game for them if they win it.
2 wide receivers set to the near side. I formation, 1st and 10 from the 16. Meyer on the option. Cuts it upfield and tackled at the 20.
Yeah, good job of taking what the defense gives you. You could tell by that scheme they were not going to let Suggs be the guy to get around the corner. Make the quarterback run it, make him beat you.
Mike White made the tackle. You have to give a lot of kudos and compliments to Dave Meyer, who came in a tough situation in a hard-fought game here at home after the injury to Michael Vick.
He has a chance to really be a hero.
Shotgun to the sideline. Pitch and catch. Emmett Johnson close to the first down. They needed to get past the 25. Brandon Williams made the tackle.
Craig, that was a very well-designed play. I think when they look back on that with the staff, they're going to say, get the first down. I mean, it sure looked like from here that was a play that the receiver could have picked up the first down yardage and not worry about trying to get anything big. As it is, 3rd and short.
Frank Beamer walking with the headsets. Under 4 minutes remaining. 4th quarter, 3rd and short. Guess who? Suggs, 1st down and more to the 31. Purifoy, the middle linebacker, who rotates with Gonzalez, made the stop for Pittsburgh.
Well, this offensive line has had its way most of the second half because Suggs, Suggs doesn't need a lot, but they've done a nice job for him up front, and no better example there than in crunch time. They open up a nice hole on 3rd.
Clock continues to run. 1st and 10. Hokies at the 31. Suggs with a 2-yard gain.
Now it's a matter of winning little battles. The little battles are the first down marker. You want to keep moving the chains. And so if you can figure out a way to keep doing that, it helps if you have an injury here. You don't like to bring off some of your better linemen. Josh Redding, one of the strongest guys on this football team, has now come out of the game. But, Craig, you like giving it to Suggs because it runs clock and there's very little risk of a turnover.
Suggs in this half, 104 yards on 15 carries. Meyer in trouble, tucks and runs, looking for room. to the 37. And for an update on Georgia and Florida, back to Tim Brando.
After Florida had sacked Quincy Carter and he fumbled the football, Rex Grossman back in for the injured Jesse Palmer. Goes to both Carroll 29 yards, going right to the jugular as Spurrier always does. From 2 yards out, Robert Gillespie would take it in for the touchdown. 34-23 Gators. Back to Craig and Dean.
What a big play we have here. Every third down is big, but this one is monumental for Virginia Tech.
From the shotgun. High snap, Meyer able to gather it in, throws into collision.
That's a good call. That is a good call.
Shawntae Spencer, the true freshman, hometown Pittsburgh product, riding the back, and the flag came out.
Well, and the funny thing is, and it's not funny for Pittsburgh fans, but he was in position.
Pass interference on the defense. It's a spot foul, automatic, first down.
Watch Spencer. All he had to do was wrap up or make the collision when the ball got there, and it high percentages that was going to be incomplete. They punt it to his team, but a little over anxious.
1st and 10 with 1:50 left on the clock. You're in the 4th quarter.
Not only is it easier to play quarterback up here, it's easier to play safety too.
Wilford in motion. Play action. Meyer steps back and pops, going deep ball. There was a bump, no flag, incomplete.
Yeah, I think that might have been uncatchable. That's one of those plays that each game you go in with 2 or 3 trick plays, or plays that if you have to come out with them at the end of the game, you do that. And this was one of them. Fake, pump a hitch, and go deep. Well defended. Sean Robinson in good position.
Like to have it back. 2nd down and 10 from the 40. Stops the clock with 1:42 left. You look at the timeouts. Pittsburgh with 2, and the Hokies with 1 remaining.
This one smells like overtime to me, Podsy.
Could come down to that couple of legs in this game. Meyer in the shotgun, throws complete, first down. It was Moody, number 82, who knew he was going to get some playing time today because of the injury to Andre Davis. Moody, a redshirt freshman, just turned 19 on Thursday.
Yeah, and he was a walk-on when he first came in.
Well, what a catch in a very tense moment. Clock running from the 48-yard line of Pittsburgh. Meyer under pressure, stands up and throws on the knee, complete.
That'll be a first down.
Emmett Johnson.
I'm telling you now, Dave Meyer is coming through for Frank Beamer. He is passing the test. Now, he still has a good 15 yards to get his team in a good position for a field goal, but the quarterback is making the plays as that guy, Harris, is forcing him to make the plays. He's either going to beat us or he's not. That's what Coach Harris is saying.
Meyer 6 of 12 for 103 yards. Hendrick breaks the tackle inside the 30 to the 26. Tackled by Ponto.
Right now, it would be a 43-yard field goal. Again, into the wind. So I would think at this point, Virginia Tech would keep the football on the ground, try to pick up as many yards as they can, and ultimately get it in the center of the field. Pittsburgh scrapping, a loose ball, a turnover, anything they can do.
Timeout has been called, and Pittsburgh will burn a timeout. They'll have 1 remaining, as will Virginia Tech. Timeout. 34 all. 1:02 remaining. There is a look at Warley, Carter Warley, and how strange. A year ago, November 6th of '99, Shane Graham, the Big East kicker, 44-yard field goal. As time expired to give Virginia Tech the 22-20 win over West Virginia, and it kept their national championship hopes alive.
Are you saying something, Craig?
Oh, well, the table is set, is it not?
Well, it is, and Pittsburgh is saying, hey, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah,
they're saying that, though, because He missed the last field goal from about this distance. Pittsburgh is saying, get us the ball back. Our guys can score in a hurry, or we're at least going to make it difficult for you. There's the wind that he has been kicking into.
1st and 10, a minute 2 left. From the 26-yard line, I formation, Suggs the tailback.
Look for Suggs.
They give it off to the fullback, Ferguson.
As soon as I say look for Suggs, he hands it off.
Trying to think, too, Dean, just to work the ball middle of the field.
Sure, and I'm thinking Suggs because he has been the go-to guy, and obviously that's what Pittsburgh was thinking as they stop the clock. But you're right, run the clock. If you can pick up first downs, continue, but pick up a little yardage and center the ball.
2nd down and 5. And tonight on CBS begins with Paul Sorvino and Ellen Bernstein in the new drama, That's Life. Chuck Norris stars, Walker, Texas Ranger, and then Craig T. Nelson in the new hit drama, The District. It's all here. Check it out on CBS. Carter Warley, redshirt freshman. Say the kick game this year at Virginia Tech really took a big change. Robert Priestley's their punter. They lost Shane Graham, and they also lost Jimmy Kibble, their punter. And so Frank Beamer had to give the duties over to 2 redshirt freshmen.
You know, seeing Frank Beamer, the guru of special teams, with a punter with a 35-yard average, I thought I would never see that. That's like seeing Bobby Bowden with a quarterback who can't throw. Second and 5, and Pittsburgh with no timeouts remaining. Virginia Tech will likely run one play, run the clock down, and either go ahead and get the kickoff under that clock or stop it if it goes all the way down within 5 seconds. There's a chance they won't need the timeout, though.
45 seconds remain. A 34-all game here in Blacksburg, Virginia. They fake the pitch. The middle goes into the 10-yard line is Ferguson. Boy, they really sell the pitch to Suggs and then a quick hitter right to Jarret Ferguson.
Well, the guy saying thank you right now is the kicker. Every inch makes his job easier. And when you get down to the 10-yard line-ish, it becomes essentially an extra point.
If they would not gain another yard, this would be a 27-yard field goal. They're going to let the clock continue to run.
Yeah, the offensive line, just relax, guys. Let the quarterback has it under control. Come on, guys. Frank's going to call timeout here in a few seconds. I think they thought the quarterback had decided he wasn't going to come back to the huddle. Help! Come on out here.
Rushing yards in this game, Virginia Tech with 282. Pittsburgh, 34.
Hard to win with those numbers.
Carter Warley. He missed from 46. He's connected from 35. He hit 35-yarder in the second quarter, and then just before half from 38.
Well, that's a comfortable position for any kicker in college football. He has a long of 47. And if there was any team, if I were Pittsburgh and there was any team that I would not want to be going up against in a special teams clutch situation, it would be Frank Beamer and Virginia Tech, because he is so solid. Frank is actively involved in all the special teams areas.
Virginia Tech trying to keep their perfect season alive at 7-0, 5-0 in Big East play. But the last 2 weeks, Dean, it's been heart-wrenching for Virginia Tech fans to watch them struggle against West Virginia. Also tight game against Syracuse.
Well, the old saying, a win is a win, is true. He'll get past this if he makes this and look to Miami.
From 27. Carter Warley from 27 yards. 37-34, Virginia Tech.
Well, he didn't catch all of this, but I don't think he was worried about the distance. Warley is only thinking middle of the crossbar, middle of the uprights.
Beamer was beaming.
And as it looked unlikely that with Vick on the sideline, with Davis on the sideline, trailing in this game, that this would even be a possibility, it didn't look like it would. And not only a possibility, but it happened. And there is one quarterback tonight by the name of Dave Meyer that if this lead holds up, will have a smile on his face.
Tremendous job to take over for the injured Michael Vick. Lee Suggs, terrific from the tailback spot. On the other side, Pittsburgh with Turman, and how about Antonio Bryant?
You know, you're looking there at Warley, and you talked about Shane Graham earlier. He went to the same high school as Graham. Pulaski County Cougars here in Virginia.
Warley the kick. At the 1, Rutherford. And he takes a seat at the 22. 10 seconds on the clock. Today's player of the game, presented by Solomon Smith Barney, is Lee Suggs, Virginia Tech. 28 rushes, 164 yards, 3 touchdowns. Watch in December when Solomon Smith Barney presents the CBS Sports College Football Player of the Year Award Show. 10 seconds left in his Virginia Tech defense, waving to their fans for support. A sellout.
Pittsburgh has played hard and they've played well. They've had a few opportunities for big plays that they did not capitalize on, but this is an improving and a good football team.
Turman down the middle of the field, up for grabs and complete. 2 seconds remain.
Well, that was Whitaker had a chance to put an end to this game, and one of the more vocal and popular players and closest friends to Michael Vick, I believe, had a chance to let that one be the last play of the game, but they'll have one more shot. So the key is you drop as many in coverage as you can. You don't interfere. Keep everyone in front of you, and if they do catch the ball, be in position to tackle.
Under pressure, Turman will never get a chance to throw. It's over. Pugh broke through. An emotional win for Virginia Tech. So for Dean Blevins, this is Craig Bullerjack saying so long from Lane Stadium, where our final score is Virginia Tech 37, Pittsburgh 34. Without Michael Vick in the second half, the Hokies win by 3. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.